everybody from this moment on to recognize me as the scholar of boxing.
You see, their morals, their code, it's a bad joke. It's dropped at the first sign of trouble. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
49 hours declaring a riot.
5 to 50 feet advised, County Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
Publicists, when you talk to your publicists, you know the first thing they tell you? What? Stay away from religion, stay away from politics. Okay. You know why? Why? No matter what the you say, somebody passionately disagrees with you.
Absolutely.
No matter what religion, you believe in Allah, then you're saying that's not the right way. You believe in every Christianity, that's not it, because they're choosing something different. Your political party, the Democrat, Republican, the disagreement completely.
Yep.
So I stay away from it. When I get pulled into politics, I go,
Yeah.
and I have nothing to say. I'm just
That's the same way we are. We don't no politics, none of this.
I'll with that. I don't stay there because I'm still entertainment. If it's not music, then it's film and television, but it's still entertainment. So why would you turn someone off by saying that?
Right.
I want everybody to enjoy what I'm doing.
Right.
Not just a selective few amount of people. I focus on diversity because it's needed.
Right.
The boxing scholar is a lover, not a fighter, but he's also a fighter, so don't get any ideas. If he pats you on the back, you'll put it in your resume. His enemy. Have him listed as an emergency contact. The scholar has an inside joke with complete strangers. If he punched you in the face, you'd have to fight the urge not to thank him. Sharks have a week dedicated to him. He's the only man alive to is parallel park. A train is count to infinity twice. In Genesis, when God said, "Let there be light," the scholars said, "Say pretty please." He is the genius of all genius and master of all masters.
And that's the trick to life. You have to be wise enough to know when you were living in your dream. And you have to be humble enough to accept when you're in someone else's.
And I know what you're thinking, Jay. I know what you're thinking. I'm a little full of myself, but I promise you I didn't make that intro. I promise you I didn't. There was only somebody that knew me.
That was very a lot. I was not expecting that. And I want to say I'm not surprised either. It's all making sense now.
Interesting. So for those watching, this is my friend Jay. She has a dope channel. You know what I mean? And she's always disagreeing with me. It don't matter what I say. If I say the sky is orange, she's going to say, you know, it's blue. Or if I say it's blue, she's going to say it's orange. She always takes the opposite side. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but, you know, maybe, you know what? I have a theory on that. When I was younger, I used to disagree with the elderly people, but not because I really ultimately disagreed. I just wanted to make sure that they knew what they were talking about. Like I wasn't going to take information for somebody that was indecisive or didn't know what they was talking about. Do you think that's what it is?
Not at all. No, I think that it's just sometimes we disagree. I don't think we always disagree. It's just what it is. I think that you make some valid points. It's just maybe you're not used to someone who gives you and offers a little bit of pushback and, you know, promotes some thinking. And so you just have just surmised it as, oh, she's always disagreeing. No, I'm just encouraging people to think is all.
Well, look, I'm gonna just be honest with you. Disagreement is the story of my life because I married a black woman. But that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. So you had a video You had a video, and you be. I mean, let me say, you be cooking in your videos. What's good? What's good, Most Hated? You be cooking in your video. What's up, like that? You be cooking in your videos, but I disagree with some of them. I didn't say all of them. One of the videos I thought was really hilarious was when you was like, when they stopped by your house unexpected and you took the milk. You're like, give me this. Get out of here. That one was so funny to me for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's like really funny. But the one, do you want to elaborate more on what you said in the video? What did you say in the video exactly?
I think I was talking about how men will, like, if you're in a situation, men feel like if they are involved with somebody, you can't pop up on them, you can't kind of do those things, but they feel like they could do it in the reverse. Meaning, like, if I'm just talking to a man, he feels like he can come pop up at my house, or he just has rights and claims to me. But, you know, he really don't. And if he's coming by with some shit, give me that milk, and then you got to roll because you weren't invited here necessarily. You know, like, women should get the same kind of respect that we give to men as far as their space and everything. I think that's what that video was about.
Yo, I seen a girl today, and she was talking about she like her man a little sexist. You know how Glow said she like a man with a little bit of ugly.
Okay.
She said she like her man a little sexist, and she meant as far as like, she was saying like, how could you believe in gender roles? Like the man's supposed to bring home the cheese, but you don't believe in like, you can't accept gender roles when they're beneficial to you, and then disregard them when they're not. Essentially, is what she's saying. So she was saying she like a little bit of it.
Okay.
Are you down with that? I thought you was going to listen. Oh, she finally, what? I agree with that. So let me say that. That's probably how I get you to disagree. I agreed with her.
No, I think that most women, especially Black women, you know what I mean? I think most women are more and lean more traditional or more conservative when it comes to those things. You know, I think what has happened is men over time have just become so like the energy behind it is different, you know? But I think most women understand and know, like, yeah, get the garbage, brother. Like, I'm cool with that.
Interesting. So what if he told you get the pan, sister?
If he tells me to get the pans?
The pan, like the cook.
Oh. See, and then this is when we can start.
Here we go. Here we go.
This is where we can start to unpack this, because I feel like all relationships are like you whatever the gender is, you have to kind of have a balance. You know, I think it's okay to be like, you know, you do this for me, I do this for you, and it works out. You have to find the happy medium. I just think that, you know, I feel most Black women are more like traditional leaning. And if, you know, that's how it works, that's how it works. I think it's just when they come off the top and you better this and you better that, and they're coming like they're the king of the castle or the king of the world type of thing, and you're just some mere peasant. If you're treating me like a queen, then I have no issue with treating you like the king. You understand what I'm saying? It has to be a mutual respect. A lot of men have a hard time with respecting women. You understand what I'm saying? Like, just to have a real understanding of who she is, what she likes or dislikes, and how I need to show up for this person. They often just objectify and try to control and manipulate and all these different things. When it's a mutual respect, not just as a woman, but as a person first, I think that it could work. Okay, what you want? Tacos or spaghetti? You know what I'm saying?
But do you realize how confusing that is? Because you say you want a little bit of sexism, but if he put that pan on the stove and be like, I don't smell no dinner cooking, you go be like, hold on, who the hell are you talking? You get no trust. You see how confusing that is?
Not if he's doing what he needs to do. Not if the man is doing what he needs to do. I don't think any woman would disagree with that. If your man is doing what he needs to do, he's meeting your needs, not only financially, but emotional needs, she gonna make that meal and then some with a smile on her face.
Okay, I got one for you. I got a curveball for you. Let's say your needs are being met, but just you caught him in the building stage where he ain't, because you know most men start peaking financially around 40 to 50 years old. So let's say you caught him before in his 30s and he up there, but he's giving 100%, but it ain't enough. You still carrying the weight. Will you basically put him in a spot of potential and deal with it accordingly, or would you be like, nah, I ain't gonna treat you right until you achieve the maid status? How would you go there?
I can't speak to that personally.
Well, let me tell you about it. You know how you talk about the unfairness of being a woman. Let me tell you how crazy that is as a male. Like your value is based on the dollar amount. You know what I mean? Like you said, doing what you're supposed to do. Why have we all put dollar amounts on value? That's like the whole society's transactional now, and we wonder why divorce is so high and all that other stuff. It don't make any sense. When people look, I get accused of being simp by the boxing people, and I get accused of being red pill by the women that I talk to, and I tell them I just support good ideas. And I feel like I'm looking at society, I'm looking how men are being treated. And I know that if the numbers don't lie. You look at when people start to peak financially as a man, it's normally when they're older.
Okay.
And it's like, as a woman, if you get somebody that's already made and you're making it transactional, he know you're with him for being he's going to treat you accordingly. But if you with him for the struggle, he's going to treat you differently. If you were there before him, most, not all. Because we know what Kanye said. Well, but most will treat you like she was down for me when I didn't have nothing.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but when I say something like, "Oh, well, if he's doing his part, then I have no issues with doing mine," I did say, like, financially, but also too emotionally too. Like, it's one has to go with the other for me. I think that you're hitting something when you say like the society is so transactional, right? I believe that there's some truth there, but in general, like, women like stability. You understand what I'm saying? You're only as strong as your options. So I'm not saying she's a 304 or whatever the case, but women just naturally, we like for a man to be stable. So you don't have to be living in a lap of luxury, but at the minimum, you should be able to take care of yourself. You should be able to, be an asset. You understand what I'm saying? And if you are not in position to be an asset to that woman or whoever, then why even involve yourself? You become a burden.
So you're talking about taking away. The scenario I gave you, he's not at his full potential yet, but he's still kicking in. He's not taking away from, meaning he's adding. So whatever, let's say you make 40,000, 30,000, whatever the case may be, he's still giving to her. He's adding to her. He's not asking her for shit, but like they're combining their resources. Does he still deserve to be treated like the dude that is already coming made, is what I'm saying?
I would say yeah. If you're stating it like this, then yeah, because a man that's made it, air quote, he makes a lot of money. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that he even is going to do what you want him to do. Let's be clear. You know what I mean? It's a whole bunch of niggas, who's making it and stingy as hell. You got a better chance with a nigga who's making 50,000. He's giving you more than somebody who, is making six figures. Like, it's a real thing. So it really is a case by case situation. It's hard to generalize something like that when we're talking about relationships because it's so layered, it's so nuanced. Oh, he's an asset, he's not a burden. Oh, this, that, and the third. I think this is just old, tired rhetoric. Yes, Mike said money don't make the man. Exactly, money don't make the man. It's the character. You feel what I'm saying? It's the person behind them. Like it's more than that. And I think, again, if a woman is understanding his value and sees where he is and who he is, his character, his integrity, all of those things account for something. You can have a nigga who got a whole bunch of money, however young, old, whatever. He's terrible. He's trash. You feel what I mean? So because he has money, I'm going to treat him like a king? No, if he's hurt my feelings and I'm fucked up, I'm emotionally wounded, I'm traumatized. I think that men, have this idea that their money is the savings grace and how they attract and how they show up. But really, y'all need to be doing the work. Okay, brothers, if y'all over here, come follow me on my channel because we talk about doing the work. You can have all the money in the world, but if you're not okay on the inside and you're not okay in who you are as a man, as a father, as a son, as a whatever, it doesn't make a difference. And if the woman is on her, what she's supposed to be on, she's going to understand and recognize that.
You know what, Jay? It's funny you said that because I don't necessarily disagree with that. Michelle Obama. Hey, as a kid, I was really stoic. Now that I'm older and realizing it, like I used to look at like TED Talks and they never inspired me. I don't know why. I'm like, it's the truth. Why do you need somebody to read? Like repackage the truth. You already know what you need. It's like a person that's obese and then they watch a commercial that says, you need to stop eating. You know what? I do need to stop eating. Like, you knew that before you watched I used to always think like this. But you know what really do but be like I ain't gonna say move me, but I watch it now, is Michelle Obama's radio show.
Okay.
Because I feel like they made it at the highest level. And they didn't start there. And they had to deal with whatever we got to deal with at our regular jobs, they got to deal with that times 10. So I really, really keen into what they have to say. And, you know, it's so much gender war talk about what a man needs to be, blah, 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 blah. And it's just, that's so confusing to me because every man is different. And they got people out there talk about who's the prize. Like, people pull up on they told a young dude on this channel that he was the prize. And I was telling him, like, bro,
what you think about that? What?
The prize is such a stupid statement. I value my wife. Like, I've always valued her. And I hope that she will value me the same. Ain't that how a relationship's supposed to be? Yeah. Why you sit there having an argument about who's the catch? That is such a petty thing to do. Like, I don't know. I just think that's stupid.
But that's because the influence of social media, though. Like, social media has really impacted the way we show up in relationships, friendships. We see the girls, and you wore that to my birthday. It's your birthday fit. You can't wear this. We see that in how women are coaching other women to be a certain way. And then, man, you got to understand that a woman has a certain thing. And then, like, now we have this whole perception that's completely different that we don't even know how to relate on a one-to-one basis, like, you know, because everything is so programmed into our mind to be at a gender war, to understand, oh, I'm the prize, I'm the main character. You know what I mean? This is why we have a generation of sassy men. I'm not saying it to be homophobic. I'm just saying that that's the rhetoric around it. You feel what I mean? Like, men are now being the prize. Men are now the main character. What's she going to do for me? Like, what are we really doing here? This is all influence of the algorithm.
The culture that you're talking about is absolutely 100% true. But this is the logic that I use in that, right? Because I listen to them. I don't just dismiss people because I disagree with them. But, you know, you got the Myrons and those people, the Kevin Samuels, and they say, hey, you're the prize. But then they also would tell them, well, you know, men don't really start peaking financially until their older age. Statistics support this. So how you telling somebody that women only want this small group of people who already made it, but yet you're the prize without making it to that small group? That makes no sense, because what they're not really hearing what they're really telling them. They're telling them only 1% of the population is the prize, and I'm that 1%. Give me your money so I can go date these women and just hope that one day you can make it to being a prize like me and date these bad women that I'm telling you not to date right now because you're really not. They're not looking your way.
Right. That's a good breakdown. A little Jedi mind trick right there. Yeah, I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, that makes plenty of sense. Well, it doesn't make sense, but I see what you're saying. Whew, ugly work. That's disgusting, man. That's disgusting. Like you just said, well, I want my wife to know I love and respect her and hope she does the same for me. Like, it's nothing wrong with having mutual respect and mutual love and mutual admiration for somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Like, where are we? Like, what are we doing for real? You know, I was talking to somebody, who I would consider grown, and he's like, oh, yeah, well, I don't want to double text. I'm like, double text? What the fuck are you even talking about? Like, I live a real life. Like, sometimes, you know, things happen and, you know, I forgot or whatever. Like, I'm not gauging anything outside of just how we communicate. I just think it's so warped. The perceptions, the realities, it's really bizarre. I hate it so bad.
So I'm not gonna say no names because this is one of my homies, but he's a young dude. I get a lot of YNs because of boxing, right? But he was talking to me and he was telling me about this guy, and I remember I got really enraged because I could see the play, but he couldn't because he was younger. But he basically was telling me that this guy is selling classes on how to get women, and once he gets that, he's gonna just be ultimately ready to talk to these women. And then, like, I was like, bro, any guy that's telling you that they're alpha male and they're gonna teach you how to be alpha is definitely lying. Like, if it was that easy where you could be taught, then everybody would be alpha. Correct. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain people that walk in the room and you feel them. You can't teach that. You know, like, you're wasting your money essentially. But I knew he was like cultish, like he was already gone. And I'm like, this is why, like, the cycle of women preferring older men will always continue. Because not because we made everything so transactional and then financially they're going to be looking to be secure, like you said, but also look at what the young dudes, because sometimes women will lower their standards off of looks. It just is what it is, right? There are some people that make the cut, you know what I mean? Like, They ain't none of the stuff they say they want, but they are physically attracted to them. You can't beat biology, right? And those dudes is out there saying this type of stuff. So they messing up any chance that they might get to break the rules because they like, nah, I'm the prize. And I'm like, oh my, I just face palm like, bro, this is, oh my God, the cycle's going to continue.
I think that you are really speaking to something that's really serious. I don't know if well, obviously you heard about the situation with, I don't even want to see his name on your live, brother. The person that was over in Utah and how that whole thing.
Okay. I call him Bruno.
Okay, Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
Facts. I'm gonna have to get that drop. Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno.
Oh my God. Okay, yes. So Bruno. So I went down a rabbit hole of like understanding what was going on in this whole everything because they were like, oh, it was a laugh, it was this, he was a trans person. So these young people really are trying to capitalize off of being the alpha and being this whole everything. And there is a whole subgroup of men who have just understood that they could never be an alpha or what they call chads, right? And so they are now, if they can't look smacks, which is like go to the gym, work out, wear the fit, and get the girl, they much rather just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna be a beta or just end up being like, trans, but they don't necessarily feel that way, but they understand that they have more, they have a higher position if they were still in their whiteness, but then also too a woman. It's so very bizarre, and it has something to do with us going back into like the trad life, trad wife, alternative right, these traditional values. So it's a lot of subgroups in small little niche like categories that's happening, especially with the younger kids, because they're trying to find their way. It's a lot of political propaganda of what a man should be. Again, and they're all connected because of what? Social media. Like, you know what I mean? Going again to my original point of how social media is really impacting the way that we feel about ourselves, the way that we present in the world, and how we, express that outwardly in our relationships. It's sad. Look it up. It's called looks maxing and trans maxing. Unbelievable.
Give me 1 second. Yeah,
but when I'll keep it going since I was kind of really just dumbfounded, like what in the world is going on? So it's like a crossbreed of like alpha male trad life, but then also to like white supremacy as well. So these younger kids are now, and I feel like I don't even want to just blame on the alternative, right? Because Kevin Samuels ushered that in for the black people. And then there's another guy, I always forget his name. He kind of came after Kevin Samuels. He was like this black guy, but he's like British or whatever. All the young boys was talking about him. He's a UFC fighter, real cocky, arrogant dude.
I never heard of him.
Yes, you have. Everybody says that when I'm trying to express, talk about him. I got to look it up now because I always forget who he is. He was on the alpha wave kick too. Alpha male, I'll show you. Blah 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 blah. He was like really big. I'll find him. But
while you looking it up, you want to hear a funny story? So when I was in college, my ex was my cousin's best friend, and they were twins, right? So after we,
got it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, Andrew Tate. Okay.
Yes. You know exactly who I was talking about. Never forget that man. Remember him. Go ahead.
Okay, finish the story, Andrew Tate. What are you going to say?
No, I'm just saying, like, I think that he ushered in a new wave of that whole alpha male, blah, 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 blah. And then, Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate. And then we have the Bruno guy, right, who talks about this whole traditional life, but it's rooted in Christianity and like Christian nationalism and what a man should be and what a woman should be. And it's really he was young. He was 31. You know what I'm saying? So his main demographic was really, really young people. And so instead of a man or a little boy going out to the mall like we used to do and just, practicing talking to people, he'll pay a course to another man to show him how to do that. But when you think about it, it's a little sus. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna go ahead and go chill with bitches that's my age and whatever. I'm gonna pay another man to be my mentor to show me how to do something sexual and romantic. Like that's ridiculous. But thank you, Hermes. Exactly, major red pillar.
But you know what? You're exactly right. See, the reason why technology and robots keep evolving is because we want easier lives as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
at what cost? At what cost? I was just saying that too. I made a TikTok about that. Like now that the AI is going towards I know that they signed an R&B AI artist or whatever, and we see the AI is doing videos and AI corn sites and all of these different things. The new goalpost is not to look like the BBL in Spanish Harlem. It's going to be, I want to be as perfect as AI. You understand what I'm saying? How that's going to impact young girls, teenagers. You feel what I'm saying? Young moms, men even. It's like once you go down a slippery slope, once you open up Pandora's box, you just don't know what can come out of it. It's like we're going to keep going further and further and further and further and further before you know it. Who knows? Enter how would I even phrase it?
Oh my goodness, you going down a slippery slope now. What you finna say now?
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Enter
Lil Nas X
marriages type shit. Huh?
You about to say enter Lil Nas X?
No, more than that.
Don't that seem like it? So if they're spending a whole bunch of times around dudes saying bros before hoes and all the sayings,
what's that about?
They see that used to be some stuff that just say that made us look cool, right? Because deep down inside, back in the 90s, a lot for the young people, we used to have something called home phones, and we used to have where we could do three-way conversations, stuff like basically what we do now is just more advanced, right? And we would have really good conversations, but nowadays they don't got that. And remember, I was saying that technology is meant to make our life easier. What I meant by that is if you give somebody the option, you say you want to struggle or you want life easier. 10 out of 10 gonna pick the easy, right? So with that being said, the red pill people are predatorial in the way that they go into the kids and saying, hey, those nerves you get? I'll tell you how to get rid of them. I'll tell you how to have girls flocking, and you won't even have to talk to them. They're gonna come to you. So it's like, they're like, wait a minute, what? You remember those commercials used to come on in the 90s? Hey man, sprinkle this salt on your food. You can eat anything you want, lose weight. Those ab commercials where they had the models that already had it's a new product, but they already showing off a 8-pack. It's kind of like that. It's a marketing scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme for you to buy in and then eventually hope to be at the top. And like I said, what it's leading to is just when you hear the stuff that they say, it is gay. I mean, there's no way to clean it up. Like I seen this one comment where somebody said, "Man, women are so stupid. The world would be a better place without women." And I was just thinking, like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? You would want an earth with 100% males? Yeah, you fighting some urges. Like you might as well come out. You fighting some urges there. That is absolutely insane. That sounds like a night. That sounds like if hell was a real place, that's what the devil would do. He would make you come back reincarnated with 100% males on earth.
Mm-hmm. And it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn, and it's slowly like we're surely becoming more and more recognizable, or not recognizable, but everybody understands is on the same page. Like, yeah, well, it just kind of is what it is. Like you said, bros before hoes is the first step. But then after that, it's like all of the conversations around how men don't really even like women. I know y'all heard that. Like, men don't even really like women. They just like what they can do for them. They much rather spend time with their homeboy. Like, that's rooted in something. And when you kind of just keep saying that over and over again and making women seem like less than, and it's not really good, like the man is the superior species, the man is the one, the man is the one, the man is the one. Well, here's the thing: men like to hunt, men like to conquer. They don't want to conquer no dumb shit. They want to get the superior one eventually. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
I provide perspective on that for you from a male perspective. Sure. And luckily I've been blessed with a really good memory, so I can remember aspects of my life. So I remember when I watched The Barbershop. You remember it had the dude in there that was going with Terry?
Yes.
A lot of people used to say I looked like him. So of course, I ain't gonna say idolized him, but he said some stuff in the movie that was just so fly. I remember it was one of the girls that was talking to him, and he was like, "Look, when we're together, and when we not, we're not." I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to use that one." So it's like there's pressure in society. People don't talk about it, but there's pressure in society to look like a player or like look like the dude or look cool or whatever the case may be. This is why this term is overused, simp. Everybody throws simp into everything. If you ask them for a real definition, they couldn't even give you one. But everything is simp this and simp that, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, the same pressure is there. Like even when we was younger, we would tease dudes for being in love on the phone. We're like, you over there, cupcake, this nigga's in love. He in love. You get what I'm saying? So that always exists inside of them. It's not that they don't like women. They just don't want to look uncool to their peers. It's social conformity to a sense. That's why I look at it.
But at what point does it stop being social conformity and it starts turning into a real thing? Because if you continue to say that, like your psyche, your subconscious doesn't really know the difference. And again, going back to the slippery slope, you can say, it's just words, I'm just saying it. But eventually those things will creep in. Eventually those words are followed by actions. I ain't talking to that bitch. I'm just chilling with the niggas. Eventually we all just chilling. Now all of a sudden, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
oh no,
I'm just saying.
Do that.
I mean, like, I will go to the deep end. I'll jump into the deep end of the pool. I'm not afraid to say it because let's just skip the bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? Or let's take that out of it. It'll be, men supporting other men being terrible people to, other women. We talked about this before. Turning the other cheek when you know that is, terrorizing that woman, beating her up, doing all type of shit. But it's like, oh yeah, well, I ain't got shit to do with me because y'all don't really even care for women in general. You know what I mean? A man that's, protecting the honor of a woman. Oh, that's a sin. Why?
You know what's crazy though, Jay? It's these things are never really black and white. I'll give you an example. So, my sister-in-law, my brother was horrible to her. It was absolutely horrible. But I would always be there, like pick up the pieces or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would watch the kids, watch she go do stuff and stuff like that. I was a emotional support to a degree because it is my brother at the same time. But I mean, right is right, wrong is wrong. I never got involved that much. I would just be some person that they could lean on. So check this out though, Jay. So one time I was moving, this is when I was pursuing boxing heavy, and I knew I was going to have to struggle. You know what I mean? I had the vision, all champion, all this stuff, right? So I was coming down to Texas. I was moving to Texas, and I asked her, I was like, hey, is it okay if I stay with you for a little while? Now, mind you, I didn't stay with her on several occasions when I was helping her, right? So I just thought it would be a no-brainer. I was like, just for a couple months, whatever the case may be, right? And she was like, yeah, you got to understand, I'm trying to get away from your brother. And, I can't allow you to stay there because I'm trying to get away from him. And I was like, what? I was like, look, as much as I helped you, like I hate to be this person, but this should be a no-brainer. I even gave myself a time limit, And she was like, yeah, but if he finds out, I was like, I won't tell him. Do you know that she screenshotted the I won't tell my brother part and showed it to him and made it seem as if I was trying to get with her? But my brother already knew better. He already knew my character. So he knew that wasn't even on the table. But that's why I mean, like, we always make it like, black women don't feel protected, but does every black woman deserve protection is the real question. Because there are some out there who are just scandalous like that. Like, what the hell? Like, that was just my anecdotal. And of course, anecdotal doesn't always apply to the whole, but I was blown away. Sometimes I get blown away at how people treat other people. I'll be like, what the hell? What? This is absurd. And that was one of those cases. But Jay must be busy. So this is the story I was going to tell earlier. Let me tell the story I was going to tell.
No, I'm listening. I just, I agree. Not every woman has the same type of moral character and fabric and everything like this. That's to be expected. That's the same is true for men. I'm just saying.
Hold up. Let me pause you. 'Cause I know where you're going with this. I'm glad you said that, Jay. I'm glad you said that. Not every woman deserves. So then, how does a man
I
decide?
didn't say not every woman deserves. What I said was,
okay, let me hear you.
Not every woman is of the same moral character or has the same, type of, cut from the same cloth is what I said.
Okay, so how do you judge that? So let's say you the man. Let's say you the man and you're in a situation and you're at the park and you hear a dude raising his voice at the woman. You don't know what her character is. You don't have no time. It's not judgment. What do you do?
I agree. You don't have enough, context to say, either way. And I get that and I dig that. And I agree, but we had this discussion before and we disagreed then. But when it comes to a man physically assaulting a woman, I just feel like regardless of what happened, a man, another person who's supposed to be, the all-knowing, the all-seeing, the superior man would not just sit back and watch another man pound this girl out, is what I personally think.
Oh, you talking to the dude who, because I used to work downtown. I did security downtown. When I tell you that is the most dangerous place on earth, and they would be beating the hell out of they already, hard on life, meth head, crackhead women. I would tell them, hey, bro, cut that off, knock it off. But I'm saying that is risky. You don't know where it could go. They could this is Texas. Everybody got guns. You know what I mean? That could have easily turned left. And I can't expect every man to have that, people got families. It's a lot to ask for that. But I do get it though. I do get it because on the flip side of that, Emmett Till never got to see the age of 17, 18, 19, none of those years. They were all gone. And it was because somebody alleged that he did something. You know what I mean? So I get it. I get it both ways. I don't know.
When you start to put value or devalue what's what and what's right, this, that, and the third to our own, that's also dangerous. So she should have, she does deserve, she doesn't deserve. I think that people, on a basic level should, have enough decency to see someone else, human, man, whatever, and be like, that's not okay. If you can't intervene physically, then at least call the police. You know what I mean? We are of the age of, I ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know, as far as I know. But just, and I think that goes back to the groupthink of, men are not men in that sense. I'm only protected because I know, and you feel what I'm saying? But it's a character, and the whole alpha male wave. It's developing character flaws in these men, young and old. Okay, where they are just tapped out of just their humanness. It's more about their gender than it is their humanness. And that's the issue. Men see, I'm an alpha man. I'm the prize. She's the one. She just did this. Who is she as a person? Not as an object. Not as a thing to add to your social capital. Or to get your joint wet. What is it giving for real?
What is even an alpha male? So you as a woman, what is an alpha male to you?
An alpha male to me, I want to say an alpha male to me is someone who is good at critical thinking. What is it, baby? Hold on one second.
You good. We definitely got to wait for that because we need that definition, y'all, because it's different for every woman. And if it's stuff that could be what do you call it? If it's a perception stuff, then maybe those fresh fit dudes are right. If it's stuff that you could portray, or is it just leadership qualities that you have? Because there are some people who ain't even that tall, but their influence is really strong. They can get people to do stuff, and I always wonder why. Why do people listen to them? Why? They go they literally be having people that 6'7". You know what I mean? And they'll be crashing out for this person. You just face palm what is it about this person that could influence you to do this? You know what I mean? What you call it? Jim Jones wasn't that tall, and people followed him and listened to him. Families, some people just have that charisma about them that they could captivate people and get people I think that's what it is too. Characteristics, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
For what?
Because I was saying that I had. Well, let me hear your criteria first before I say what I say.
Okay. So for me, I think that an alpha male, I think the term is really, really, really kind of overused, overdone. Like they cooked it so bad. It does like, it's really kind of annoying. I don't necessarily even prefer the alpha. I feel like sometimes, well, not what everybody else think, what I think. Somebody who is a critical thinker, someone who is emotionally disciplined, right? Disciplined around the board. I feel like men who are disciplined are naturally ahead of the pack. And so because you're ahead of the pack, perhaps you could be the leader. Someone who has a balance. An alpha man would have to be able to balance his masculine and feminine energy, right? And keep in mind, I'm only saying characteristics, the ability to be able to lead. A good leader understands when to be led, when to also follow directions, and then also to know when to delegate a task, know when to delegate something. Savvy, resourceful. All of these things are characteristics that can fall under, to me, an alpha man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For me, Prince wrote that.
Height. It has nothing to do with height or physical. Alpha males really know how to lead. Hello. And they're great providers as well and don't mind doing it because they feel most comfortable in that. Right. Because why? They're a leader and leaders lead. Winners win, leaders lead. That just makes complete sense. And this is why a lot of the men are getting all, I'm the prize. You know why? Because it's not in them to do that. You know what I'm saying? They doing it. Oh, I'm paying all her bills because I'm expected to, and this is what I'm supposed to do. But for real, when you really got it like that, and that's who you are, that's what you want to do. That's why we're having so much of an issue because them niggas don't even want to because that's not truly who they are.
So Jay Prince wrote in his book before basically what you just said. People look at him because he's a small guy and he's a billionaire basically, and they look at it like, oh, he's such a leader, and he's like, no, it's because I know when to follow. You know what's interesting? What you said. I think there's just an X factor. It's like with boxers. It's just some people that just have it. I don't know how to explain it. Listen, I've been in a warehouse before, making probably the least amount of money in the warehouse, and everybody still knew who I was, even though I tried to be like low key. Everybody there still knew me. Like I would go to other shit. They're like, "Oh yeah, I know you." I'm like, "How? Like, how do you know me?" Like I do my best to like just fly under the radar. I remember one time I said something like because the machines was there and I yelled it, and I remember the entire place like getting like super duper quiet. And I was like, you know what? I might be out. That was like when Simba was roaring when he was younger, and then versus when he was older. I was like, you know what? It's a gift that God chose to give to very few. No, just play. Let me stop.
Oh my God, no, I heard it because.
But I think it's just I don't know because you know what I read one time. So let's talk. Let me get into this, right? So I was really really big into hypnotherapy because some boxers will hypnotize themselves so that they could go against because it's unnatural to go to danger, and getting beat up or unalived in the ring is danger. It's real danger. So they would go to hypnotherapy. So I was really into hypnotherapy, and I read that there was a certain amount of the population that couldn't be hypnotized. And I was wondering if that was me. I've always wanted to go to see if I was one of those people that the subjective. And I think that that's what an alpha male is, a person that or alpha anybody, because they talk about alpha females as well. We just take the term. The dude that wrote it was basing it off of wolves and how they move, and we're not wolves, but it's just a term. But the people that could get people to do what they want, like have great influence, I bet you they're really, really, they're in the small population of people that can't be influenced themselves. They're always conscious of what they're doing. Even if they allow somebody else to lead, they're still like, you know what I mean? They can't be part of the subjective, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. It does. That makes total sense.
So the story I was going to tell you this story. So I was dating this girl, and she was my cousin's best friend. And they after she broke up with me, she was in the sugar daddy, right? And I ain't had no sugar for her. I was 20 years old. I was a salt daddy. I was Salt Bay. So she was dating sugar daddies or whatever the case may be, right? And she had one that was, I don't even know what he did for a living. He was a white dude. So a white dude that was bad there. When I tell you I used to be roasted and clouded, oh my God, it got crazy, right?
Mhm.
So he started dating the my cousin and the friend,
Wow.
right? And which really is really crazy because I kind of looked at it like the friend sacrificed my cousin. I don't know Illuminati stuff, but like they went out, they were drinking, and like I think she intended for them to all sleep together. That's how I looked at it. Like,
Right.
come on, this ain't this big ass coincidence. Like, come on.
Give him
So
a
anyway,
little treat.
so this is how crazy it gets. He started liking my cousin better because I guess she had better box.
Okay.
Right? So he really got seriously like head over heels for my cousin, right? And he started like, asking his black friends like, what should he do? When I tell you his whole demeanor was like bringing down the house. You remember how he was dressing like, I got this from your mama.
Yeah.
That's how he started acting. And they was like, man, listen, black women, they're a little rough around the edges. They don't like no weak ass male. He had a dude that worked for him that was super duper elderly. And he did something like made a mistake. And that dude went over there, was like, he turned to Nino Brown. He was like, look, I told you to stop fucking doing this. The next time you do, like he just started going off on this dude. And it had the opposite effect. Like, bro, that's what I mean. Like, people try to project what they think alpha is. So he got these dudes in his ear telling him, black women respect strength. You got to, what does CD say? You got to show them who got the upper hand. So he go out there trying to show he got the upper hand. It has the opposite effect. They're like, why are you talking to this old decrepit dude this way? Like, bro, like leave him alone. They actually start having sympathy for the dude that's getting checked.
Mm. That's a mess.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book whenever I get over there.
That's one thing I also too hate just about like the whole interracial thing. Like, I feel like black girls who date white men, like, just be you, brother. Like, if that's the case, I can just get with a black man. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if she's dating the white guy, she wants something different. Okay? Like, that's just out there to anybody who might be listening under the sound of my voice. If you're dating a black woman, like, outside of using a washcloth and moisturizing your skin potentially, just stay a white man. Okay? You don't gotta do it like that because you can't replicate that, and if that's what she wanted, she would have that. She has you. So just word of advice, keep it real light and white. Oh my gosh, what time is I start getting crazy after a certain time.
Sister, are you over here? Hold up. Are you from the same place Umar from promoting Bunny Hopping, sister?
Is that what I'm doing?
You out there promoting Bunny Hoppers. Oh my goodness.
I just figured, since they roll back DEI, I feel like I need to do my part to make sure everybody is equally served here by these words I'm spitting. Is all.
Hold on, they roll back DEI. That affected dating too, sister.
Apparently. So the people who still holding on, I just wanted to give them a little piece. That's all.
To the people that still holding on, give up hope. Go back home where you belong.
Gosh, oh my God.
Go home.
Oh my God.
Go home, sister. Go home where you was intended to be. You know what I mean?
This is what I want. This is what I want all the ladies to understand and know. Go where you are celebrated. Under any circumstances. Go where you are celebrated.
See, look, let me tell you this. I don't know if you got your notepad. I know you be taking notes.
I just don't remember a lot. I like to write it down. That's all.
So I want you to take two things from this conversation. You don't take nothing else. Number one, when people pull up over here talking about that nuclear family stuff, they are brainwashed. They are brainwashed. I always ask them what portion of history are they talking about where black people was just, they had this black woman with an apron on, like I Love Lucy, and then the kids was going to school. That's not what that was. I literally have a clip on my backup page of the black woman saying she's jealous of the white woman. And she said because she has to go to work and her husband is working like crazy just to make ends meet, and it's still not enough. and she has to go to work too, and nobody's watching the kids. Literally saying this on camera. And then not to mention the drug war and all this stuff that they targeted the nuclear family with. And it's like, this nuclear family stuff is a myth for Black people. Like when we came over here, they didn't have no pamphlets and no, nuclear family signs and all this other stuff. No, they were splitting us up. They were splitting us up. The slave master was sleeping with the wives, and they were fathering biracial kids that were also sold and split up into slavery. So when is this nuclear family time that they're referring to? Romanticizing about nostalgia, feeling about having like that is a myth for Black people. You know what I mean? And if you really want to romanticize something,
The Huxtables, Bill Cosby and them.
So you got to go to a fictional show on TV.
Well, I'm saying fictional because art is supposed to represent real life. No, there had to be some.
But also when the Cosby Show was at its height, they was Uncle Luke was too.
Duality, it exists.
And then you got to remember this: even with rap music, there's been stories about Lupe Fiasco talking about how positive Black music don't get promoted, and we know what the CEOs of rap music look like. So it's like, why are they romanticizing something that was never really a reality for us? And when it was, you know what we were doing?
What's that?
Getting married. They're against marriage now. They're saying, don't get married, you the prize. The same people that's talking about a nuclear family is saying, don't get married, you the prize.
Yeah. I can see your point. So I think it goes back to the whiteness being the aspiration, and so like they're romanticizing maybe not just the nuclear family, but just the ability to have that lifestyle.
And then the second thing I wanted you to take note of, go where you're celebrated. There's nobody that celebrates Black women more than Black men. It's impossible. And listen, there's nothing that exposed this tribal climate that we live in more than Donald Trump. He exposed everything. He took the covers up off of America and showed that up under them covers, everybody is tribal and everybody don't like Black people, including some Black people. So with that being said, listen, the Juneteenth, all this stuff, celebrations that we have, it's always been done with Black women by Black men's side. They've always celebrated them. Like even during the prideful time that we had, what do you call it? Black Panthers. There's a lot of Black women that was feeding children and doing a lot of stuff. They've always done it with Black women by their side. When I say celebrate, I mean like accepted them. You know how you talked about you being a little bit not gender. What's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of sexist, where if a man's doing everything, you will comply. Those men were out there fighting.
But go ahead.
They were out there fighting, and they were out there doing what they had to do for the liberation of Black people or equality, whatever the case may be. But they all did it with Black women by their side, including Martin Luther King. So it's like celebrate it. So, and then we got to go through history because, like I said, don't make this a nostalgia thing. The history of white men and Black women. White men made it against the law for you to even get married if you were of different races. They also took Sarah Barton's body and sexually assaulted her for years. And after she died, after the diseases they gave her, they put her body on full display for the entire world to see for years to come. I think the family barely got her body back in like 2014 or 2015 or something like that. Something crazy.
Wow. Listen, I am no stranger to understanding the cruelty and the soulless things that have taken place, the heinous crimes, the violence against humanity that has taken place at the hands of a white person. Okay, I do agree.
Hold on, do that again. Oh, what person?
Oh. Okay, I understand and know, but I just don't. I am learning you know, as I'm kind of like dipping my toe back out there, like, you know, just be open. That's all I'm saying. Just be open to receive is all I'm saying. I'm not promoting. I'm not denouncing. I'm not even shaming or being blasphemous. I'm just saying, I think that Black women just, we're the only ones who always are the last to date outside of our race, when it doesn't necessarily have to even be white. You get what I'm saying? Like, there are Latino brothers, there are Latino Hispanics who really like Black women. You understand what I'm saying? Because all of these other races of women understand and know what the blueprint is. Make no mistake about it. They are obsessed, whether they admit it or not. And so when you kind of like pair with someone else that maybe is not from like your same community, it can be very nice. It can be very refreshing if it's no weird things happening, beneath the surface is all. And you know that you always like to quote them Chat GPT quotes. Then you also would know that Black women are not being married. If y'all champion Black women,
Now she done used that. Oh my God.
We also know that, all of these different things when men of other races, will marry you. So at a certain point, you got to be like, I might be a good placeholder. And when you ask for a white girl, I might be a good placeholder, but I want to go somewhere where maybe I'm a little bit celebrated. Not even maybe, that I am celebrated, period. Listen, turn the conversation somewhere else, Scholar. I'm telling you now.
No, we're going to keep it here. We're going to keep, I like where it is.
No.
No, it's disagreement day.
Start spraying my own tea and everything.
No, hold on, sister. It's a couple of things I gotta tell you. You done said so much. We gotta unpack this.
No.
So first off, Black women, if you're not feeling loved and supported, and you feel like you should step outside the race,
fuck that. If we go to prison for the rest of our life, whoop-de-doo. We go to prison.
Whoop-de-doo. Not just play. I was just joking. But no, in our seriousness, CJ, it's a comment right here. This is my sister. She was gonna pull up. She found me through the algorithm. Algorithm be working in this mode. But she said love has no race. I disagree with that. Number one, we borrow everything from other races other than arranged marriages. And I know you're gonna be like, what, Scholar, you want to get shekels for a woman too? No. The people who have arranged marriages have a different approach to sex. Like they look at it as something virtuous versus everybody else looking at it like nothing. Oh, girl, you young, do you, blah, blah, blah. And this is like nothing wrong with looking at sex like virtuous. We always talk about our body being our temple and stuff. Right. So we need to borrow kind of that from us. I ain't gonna say we the only, because America has this type of problem. But I think we should just start looking at sex as a more virtuous thing. That's in my opinion. And I think marriage would follow.
Let's see himself. Okay.
See, there you go. See, believe it or not.
Okay.
Believe this or not, Jay. Believe this or not. I look pretty good. You remember Lil Bow Wow when he used to go to the store and all the women would be chasing him? It's not quite to that level, but it's almost there. Y'all be objectifying me. Them women be objective. Everywhere I go, they objectify me. But now it's self-control. I don't know where you got this lusty heart from. You remember you talked about you would want your man to respect you. I feel like that's where that stuff comes into part, because at the end of the day, we fight in our biology. It just is what it is. I don't personally believe that I think monogamy is something that's man-made, just like buildings that we exist in. Just because it's man-made don't mean it ain't supposed to function or work in society. Because buildings do get collapsed and they got to redo the buildings, but I look at that's how you're supposed to do with your psyche as well. And I think that's where the love and respect come from, because your eyes don't break because you're in a relationship. It is what it is, And believe it or not, Jay, I'm pretty disciplined. I'm pretty nice. I'm pretty nice when it comes to discipline. I just look at us as a whole. Like even when I talk about poly relationships, I don't want that for myself. I just try to look at solutions for the group. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we trying everything else. Why not try something different? But the only thing I will give a little pushback on is this part of it. See, people always talk about, love has no colors and all this other stuff. And it's like, look, you grow to love people. It starts with lust or attraction, resources, whatever it is, and you grow to care about them. There's no such thing as love at first sight. That's fairy tale Hollywood BS that's been pushed out there through Disney movies. If you think life is the Disney movie, you probably need to go see a therapist ASAP, because that's not how the way the world is. So with that being said, people never talk about the ramifications of biracial kids. And I was going to do an entire episode on this because I have a bunch of friends who are biracial, right? And I have a bunch of conversations with them and I hear the stuff they have to go through. Matter of fact, my cousin that now stays with them is biracial and she's blonde hair and blue eyes. And she grew up the reverse colorism. Like my other cousins made fun of her because they called her Snow Bunny and she would be crying and stuff. And it's like, what do you think that does for her self-esteem? I look at how she dates. And when I tell you, like, the people that she date, like Kevin Samuels would cuss them out and be like, go, you need to make yourself better. Like, you ain't no prize. What you think? Like, he would really talk down to them because I'd be like, what in the hell? But see, the episode I was going to do, the AI chat that you just tried to use. By the way, I'm crushed by that system. I'm crushed by that you try to use AI against me. I cannot believe that. After we talked about chat, first off, I get the name wrong, so don't judge me on that. I don't know why I say chat GTP, but I do. So that's what I'm gonna call it, right? Chat GTP. Because mine's named Jarvis. I really call it by Jarvis because I want to be like Iron Man. Uh-huh. But yeah, so I talked to it about stuff like this and the implications of biracial kids. See, people never talk about that. They make it seem like love is blind when you fall in love on purpose and you grow to love somebody. So that's a fallacy. And then you have to talk about kids if you're not done having kids. How are your kids going to be raised? Yeah. Because your family, listen, I always say this, and they could quote me on this, they could judge me on this or whatever. Black people, even if they pro-black, they will never, ever kick a son out the house for having a biracial kid. You can't say that the opposite way.
I don't know any woman who got kicked out of the house for having a biracial kid.
Exactly. But on the flip side of that, I know some white people that have disowned and kicked.
Right. Yes. Same here. Yes, I agree. I know somebody personally. You ain't lying. 20 years later, she ain't speak to her family. Yeah.
So you have to deal with that with biracial kids. Are the other side of the family gonna love your kid? And then the Chat GTP told me, don't judge me. Chat GTP told me that kids that abuse drugs more are biracial kids. And I was like, do you think it's because they biracial? Because they were, they didn't have good support system. They were tugged between. And it said that could very well be the reason that they do it, And
I think it's different types of biracial. It's the biracial with the black mom, and then it's biracial with the white mom. And all of it goes back to these white women. Because when they got the white mom as the biracial parent, whatever, or the white parent, those type of biracials are different than when you have the black mom.
That was going to be part of my episode too as well. My wife gave me that idea, but yeah, that was going to be part of my episode. You're right. They're different.
And I'm not saying, like, I do think that there are some things to talk about, especially with rearing children, raising children, their cultural competencies as far as Black community and everything. Like, there are some things that you have to consider. I don't find myself, like, I would never really want to procreate with somebody outside my race. Let's be clear. That wouldn't be
Hold up, but you up here advocating. No, sister, no.
Some women don't want children. Some women don't want children. Some women already.
But that's always a possibility. My grandma had her tubes tied with her last baby.
Hey, Granny was one of them ones, huh?
Yeah, she was living wild.
I think that you would have to be very secure in the partner, but there are some things to kind of work out when you procreate outside of your race. I think it's more or less like how you identify too. That's something that I'm learning. I had a really terrible breakdown in my family with my biracial sister, who I thought she identified as a Black woman. She's not the type of biracial that has the phenotype of a white woman. You feel what I'm saying? Like, shit, excuse me. She doesn't even identify as Black. She's a person of color. She's like, yeah, I'm colored.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wait, what? She's like, yeah, I'm colored. I'm like, you might not want to say that. She's like, no, I am. Like, I am. And then the mom's just so proud because she felt like her saying she was Black was taken away from her. I just was like, oh, I'm in over my head with this. So, yeah.
Let me tell you how funny it is you say that. There used to be a girl that put up on this channel. I ain't gonna say her name because she's not here to defend herself, but she was mixed. And before she even said it, I said, you're mixed, right? And she was like, yeah. And then she started, everything negative was of the Black side of the family. Everything positive was the white side of the family. I even knew down to which parent was Black and which parent was white.
Just how she was talking. Yeah.
Yes. She said she was a woman of color. She talked about how she does outreach programs in the Black community. And I'm like, that's not a qualifier for you. That doesn't mean you don't have self-hate.
Correct.
Because you do a work in the community. That's a way that you try to use the talking points that you use. Because you say, it's like that woman who has adopted that Black kid. Well, I could say what I want about Black people because I have a Black kid. Like, what?
No, you cannot. Because the whole thing is a lot of the white women that date Black men like Black men. They don't necessarily like Black women. So to raise a Black woman essentially is something that they would never ever can do. You know, and the Black guys usually just sit back like, oh, I ain't got shit to do with me. I'm just Mac Daddy. I got my white woman. I got my snow bunny. They're completely hands off when it comes to those cultural things, and the woman just kind of just takes over. I cannot even I can't even express the gut punch I got by them two bitches. Let me just be clear. Okay, because when I love, I'm showing up for real and holding. Because I didn't even look at her like that because that's my sister, baby. That lady, that white woman in her popped out on me. I so sure. Oh wow, I didn't even know that was the thing. Like, you know, but then they feel like, oh, I'm ostracized. But then when they get into community with people, and then that white person slip out, you know, then what? You know, so it's really, really important to know how they identify. And now moving, like, since that experience, you know, and encountering people, I like to start there. How do you identify? Because I don't want to fucking assume. You look, what Dr. Umar say, I think Negroes did this, and you look like a Negro, but you done been brainwashed by this white woman. You not? Okay, girl. Like, okay, sister, you got it. So,
but see, Jay, you make the argument to why you got to be more mindful instead of having this love is love concept, because you have to deal with that type of thing. That's a real thing. Like, I listen to mixed kids and I talk to them and they say stuff like they didn't want to identify as Black because they didn't want to piss the Black people off, and vice versa for the white people. And it's like, you wouldn't have to deal with that if they were Black, had two Black parents.
But not only that though, but also too, I want to add, if they identify as Black, 9 times out of 10, Black people would accept them. Black people are very community-based. We are very loving people. This idea that they're not accepted is some schoolyard made-up shit in fucking elementary school. You feel what I'm saying? In real life, in real time, you know, when you become an adult or a young adult even, I believe that it's made up. And I'm not trying to minimize anybody's experience, but it's like it's like a victim mindset. Do you understand what I'm saying? And maybe let me backtrack. I don't want to
I disagree.
Okay.
Want me to tell you why?
Okay.
It depends. Now, if the person wants to date the woman, he specifically gonna try to make her as Black. If she tries the one for the president, Kamala Harris, then they're gonna make her the whitest person or non-Black person ever. That's how that works. Depends on what they're trying to qualify for.
And I think you're making a good point. The fact that they have this mobility to kind of play into both is what probably is frustrating for some Black people who might be in community with them. But if they understand and know and recognize, hey, I have this privilege, I can't do anything about it, but I understand it. And I can understand why this, that, and the third, but my heart and my this, and this is who I am. That's something completely different. Like it's their heart posture. Because they got that little piece of white in them, they can't really get through to have that warmth to be like, hey, listen, I know that this is but this is really how I feel, but I'm using this to do X, Y, and Z. Like, that's more digestible, in my opinion. Like, okay, yeah. So it's no different than women being like, hey, listen, I'm a beautiful woman, and y'all, I'm about to do what I gotta do so we can get in this club tonight. All right, fuck it. Like, you know, big back brother, she ain't gonna be too mad because she getting into, like, all right, cool.
But if you coming with the and he's like it's the position that they take.
Oh, let me give you a scenario because you always disagree. I'm not even gonna tell you why I stand on it. I'm gonna just tell you what just happened to me today. So I was at a water park. And I got it was me, my son, and my 2 nephews, and we were in kind of like the deep water. So they got their life jackets on, and I'm trying to secure all 3 of them. You know what I mean? I'm on my tippy toe. That water kind of deep. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? So I'm helping them out or whatever the case may be. And this lady said, could I? And she got her hand up like she's gonna give him a high five, right? She's like, could I? I'm like, oh, yeah. Jay. She starts touching on my baby head. She wanted to pet my baby.
Oh my God.
What would you have done? I ain't gonna lie, I'm still mad right now that I didn't blow it. What would you have done in that situation?
I would have been like, bitch, absolutely not. Moved my child and made like a small spectacle so she can know not to ever do that again. I was like, what would make you think that was okay?
Oh my God, I ain't gonna lie.
Would you allow her?
Her hand was off. So hold on. Look. I got him.
Hell no.
Hold on.
That's in the line right now, y'all. Hell no. And that's the time you mother. You see, go ahead. This is.
I got him in my arm, and I got my nephew in my arm, and she's coming to him. I'm thinking she finna give my baby a high five. She's already there, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then she touches his head. So
you should have said, "Do not touch my child." Is what you should have said.
Interesting.
Do not touch my child. Are you out of your mind? If it were in the reverse, and she had 2 kids in her hand, and you went to go do a high five to her little son, and you went to go touch her son, you think she would have sat back and let that happen? That's it. Absolutely not. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying we got to be prepared and be on code for all things, because absolutely not. You don't get a pass because you know no white woman at no splash park. No, this is my son. This is what it is, and this is what it ain't. Absolutely not. You'll know for next time. That's crazy. I'm sorry that happened to you. For real.
No, she lucky Mama Bear wasn't there. I was. I mean
she would have handled it. The mama would have handled it for sure.
Ain't that who's supposed to handle it? Like, okay.
He was under your care. He was under your care. You should have handled it.
Okay, so let's just say I'm like, bitch, don't touch, because that's what I wanted to say. The fuck are you doing? Ain't no pets here. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to say.
You could have. And you would have been well within your right.
So now, and then you know what would have happened? That somebody would have been recording angry black man at water park, cusses out. You got to remember, we live in a country where a woman became a millionaire for calling a little black boy nigga. Do you see where your blackness? Remember, I told you this a long time ago. And you weren't listening to me. Black people ain't got no choice. We got a little bit of more freedom than the people before us, but you got to think everything like all the way out. You can't be reactive.
Yeah, I get that, but that's not reactive. That is you being a parent and someone crossing a boundary by touching your child.
So I was like, look, I gave you permission to give him a high five, you weird ass motherfucker. This ain't no zoo, and this ain't no monkey. That's what I'm supposed to
say. When you realize that she was actually going to go touch your son's head, and she touched him and she made contact, at that point you could have said, excuse me, I thought you were going to give him a high five. Please don't touch my child. You do not have permission to touch my minor child. Thank you.
Hey, and what y'all are experiencing right now that are listening is exactly why you need a yin and a yang, because Scholar only know one gear. I'm either calm or all the way turned up, and whatever happens. And Mama Bear would have took care of that. She would have absolutely took care of that. I was really, really mad though. I remember biting the inside of my lip, like, are you serious? Like, did you really just do it? It was, I mean, this is hindsight. You know, hindsight happened, like, you got a bunch of time to think about it. This is in a matter of a couple seconds. You know how people give scenarios of like where they've been in situations where somebody has tried to essay them, And it happens in a matter of seconds. They always be like, well, why didn't you do? And what was this is what this is, in my opinion. Because me, I'm over there like, just chilling, teaching them. I ain't even teach them how to swim. I ain't even gonna tell that lie. I'm over here trying to make sure they ain't drown. You know what I mean? Trying to keep, because one of them just like to dive in, put his head in the water and everything. So I'm keeping him straight up. And I got all three of them. And she like, can I? I'm like, oh yeah, because she coming like a high five. I'm like, yeah, it's that's nothing, no big deal. And then she pats him on the head, like, oh my God, he's so gorgeous, he's so cute. I'm just looking like, did you just really do that? That's insane.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, and I hope you let your baby know, like, yeah, don't let nobody do that. You know what I mean? That was a teachable moment, and even though she still touched him, you should have let him know too. Like, it's okay to have boundaries, and if you don't want somebody to touch you, they don't have to. You understand what I'm saying? Because your child has a right to, what if he didn't want that touch? You understand what I'm saying? Or that type of admiration or whatever. I would circle back and let him motherfucking know. My kids, if they act like they don't want to and this, that, and the third, baby, that's what they said. Oh, but they just 3, they just 4. They are little humans.
And this is exactly why you need the yin and the yang, Jay. Because I'm going to be honest with you. When she first did it, I just thought, I got mad, but I thought, fucking weirdo. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, you're weird, But after talking to my wife, and she was like my baby a damn pet. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That was kind of like what the hell? I was like, I asked her, like, do y'all not have black people where you from? Like, because she wasn't American. She was like Russian or something like that.
God. Oh God, please. Oh God, you just make it so much worse.
Yeah. So I was like, well, but yeah, afterwards in hindsight, I was like, damn, that really did happen. She really did do that. But this is why because my perspective is like my baby's. When she touched his head, he just kept swimming. He wasn't like he used to it. Like the intro that I have for my show is the same for him and his head. He used to hear stuff like that, so it was no big deal to him. He didn't care. You know what I mean? My baby's pretty friendly when it comes. He didn't jerk back or say no or anything. He just didn't give a damn, so it was no big deal in his mind. You know what I mean? So that's why you need the yin and the yang. What's good, Choco Kitty? This is my homegirl Jay up here. She like to disagree with everything I say. I'll share your link afterwards. I'm gonna put it in the description or share it on my community wall so they can go over there and get that game that you be dropping. Some of I ain't gonna say I'm gonna say like 60% I agree with. The other 40%, like family reunions. That's really what I wanted to get into. Family reunions. How in the hell are you against family reunions? What's good, Rob G?
Because the families ain't about shit. And I feel like we let too much slide. Peace of love to you, Choco Kitty. I feel like we let too much slide because, that's Big Mama and them. Oh, that's your auntie. Oh, that's just the lady at the Splash World.
Fellas, if y'all listen out there, this is why you don't share your personal story. They weaponize them. They weaponize them, brother.
Okay, I'm sorry, I take it back. But the point I'm making is, we standing on everything around here. You feel what I'm saying? And sometimes like the family is unhealthy. Sometimes the family is too toxic. Sometimes the family, instead in that karmic loop and that karmic cycle, will keep you stagnant. I don't think that people should expose themselves to unhealthy people just because they are biologically related. Fuck it. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's not appropriate. We're not doing that anymore. So I don't promote it. I said go where you're celebrated. I mean that on all fronts, okay? Not just talking about no little, whatever, yang. And so I just feel like we're stepping into a new way where a lot of us are healing ourselves, healing our childhood trauma, healing our emotional wounds, and we're walking into our life in a new way. And so when you're doing that, you can't continue to be in those spaces that, essentially broke you down. You can't. I'm 2 days out of AA meetings and 30 days sober, and I go hang out at the fucking bar. You don't do that. You avoid it. You don't deal with that. Now, essentially, there's time and place where you're going to have to be around it. You have to kind of like integrate, right? That's appropriate. But for the most part, I feel like if you are on a healing journey and your family is a trigger for you and your family is unhealthy, it is okay. It is appropriate. It is important and critical for you to choose yourself. Okay. And a lot of times we're not told that as Black people. Well, you know how they are. Well, you know what it is. I am just creating a space and spreading the word and just affirming a lot of women. You will be surprised how many people hit me up specifically about that toxic family bullshit. Okay. And just the affirmation of you have a right to be healthy. You have a right to choose yourself. Okay. Whether it's your mama or your daddy. And you're not wrong, because we're always told, we grew up like, oh, we got to respect our elders. Oh, we got to listen to the, speaking, don't speak unless you're spoken to, and all this other, dumb shit. Again, we were humans. We were not objects, little things of fly on the walls. And so we're stepping into a space where we are owning our autonomy, stepping into our sovereignty, and carving out a life in a way that's healthy for us. Ooh, I got long-winded. I'm passionate about this.
Yo, let me tell you something about educator. You see, you come over here with your fancy smancy education. What'd you say? Carmelistic? What? Yo, she educated, Carmelistic. Oh my goodness. So this is how I feel about that. I do agree with you to a certain degree. The generations after always pay for the mistakes of the generation before, and they had our undivided attention. And we're listen. Kids are the craziest thing in the world when you really break them down, right? Because there are replacements. It would be like going to a job and they have you train your replacements, feed them, clothe them, water them. You know what I mean? And they give back nothing but say more, more, more. So it's really, really funny that there are replacements on Earth, our genetics making it into the next cycle of life, and they don't contribute anything. You know what I mean? But you love them. You could tell them to do anything, and they'll do it for you. For the most part, if you're doing the right things for kids, and you tell them like, "Hey man, let's go prank on mama," they'll go with you just because they love you. You know what I mean? Kids are amazing, right? So that is, and they told us stupid stuff like, you know what I mean? Like you said, speak when spoken to, military, but in a sense, they were trying to instill discipline to us. And you just talked about how discipline is lacking in society. So I get it. It may have been the wrong methods to a certain degree in certain circumstances, but the intentions was right. You know what I mean? They're just never the type of people to admit they was wrong. That's where it goes bad, because they'll never say, you know what, I might have shouldn't have did this, or you know what, this wasn't the best course of action to take. You ask every parent, they're gonna always say in hindsight they was the best. They don't even forget the bad stuff they did. You gonna be like, remember when I went to school hungry and the only time I ate was at school? I don't remember that. No, I don't remember that one. No, you lying about that, and that's just parenting. It's like, believe it or not, our kids is going to grow up and say some stuff about us, about what they didn't get or didn't get. And we doing the best that we can. And I feel like that's what they did. But you got to fast forward to now. Family reunions were for Black people to know they lineage and heritage, right? Hip hop is 52 years old. They look at hip hop as something that's culturally Black people's, and it's a lot of degeneracy in it. Family reunions is not. Like, you know when Shakespeare wrote the story of Romeo and Juliet in a satirical way, and he wanted to, shed light on that the families were really the ones tripping, and it wasn't about love. If y'all could look at interracial relationship and see the love in that, why don't y'all look past it and see the love in family? Because I look at it like this. I had a favorite cousin growing up. Like, we were really, really tight. And our family, his mom didn't have the best relationship with our side of the family, but that never stopped us from being close. That's how it should be. It should be about the next generation, not about the family beefs. Now look, I'm not saying go be stupid. If there's any type of assault, any type of serious stuff, then absolutely protect yourself. But if it's like money and personality clashes, you got to grow up. Life is not about us, especially when we're pouring into our kids for the next generation. Like, that's something that should be easily fixed. And it's like, you get to know your family. Like we talked about kids going outside and stuff like that. Like, we have a generation that already don't go outside. Do you not want them to know their relatives as well?
So I hear what you're saying, and I just disagree on a fundamental level, because when you say something like, okay, like, we got to get past it, it's not about you. Yeah, I disagree. This life is about me. I'm living my life for me. Okay? Like, let's be clear here. I think it's just a matter of how people view and see things. I am living my life for me. And when I live my best life, that is, that directly impacts the life that I have and I create for my children. Those things go hand in hand for me. Okay. Mommy can't be all beat up, beat down, put to the side, not prioritizing everybody else go before mama. Hell no. Not in my life, not in my world. That don't work for me.
And not the snicker and after not in my world. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead. Speak your truth.
Listen, it's for real, because we, especially women, we have our own, we should be at the center of our universe. We should be, right? And I think that women are so uncomfortable with saying that, because, we're forced to be in this box, we're forced to be small, oh, she's the, come on now. It is what it is. Yeah. And I think that you said something earlier, like, well, it's just family. That's just how, that's just what parents do. They told us to do certain things. That's just what parents do. Again, I think that is minimizing some of just the poor behaviors that I have seen, not even in my own personal life, but, just where, my friends and other people. And I think that, like, I know that you're like in the South or Southwest or wherever. I think where you're from, like, geographically really plays a part in how you feel about family. You understand what I'm saying? So I lived in the South, so I understand the dynamics are different. People are a part of a community, and community really means something, right? I'm not saying don't have a community and don't have your children with community and friends and cousins. Just let them be healthy, right? And if it's not the people who you're actually blood related to, that's fine. That's okay. No, it's not ideal. No, it's not what I thought it would be, but I could still have family and I can still have community. It just may not be with y'all niggas. And that's my wish. That's my wish. You feel what I'm saying? Because those things are important. And I don't like to just go to, oh, they were just doing the best they can. Some people did. Some people did. Not a lot of them. Not a lot of them did. They was just getting by day. And then not be able to take accountability for what if somebody really needed to hear that. They have to be in the space of healing. Nobody want to heal shit because they don't want to admit to nothing. I just apologized to my son today, and with tears in my eyes. He's 4. You feel what I'm saying? And not because whatever. I feel like he understands. I know he understands because he can feel me, but because I hurt his feelings and I didn't mean to, and I was being impulsive, and I needed him to know that although I'm mommy and I did this or whatever, like, that wasn't right for me to do that to you, son. And he felt that. He's 4. You feel what I'm saying? You mean to tell me your big grown ass and you did, and I had to this and I had that, you can't even give an apology to a motherfucker? Like, that's no example, not even for me, but for damn sure not my kids. So what are they really missing out on?
See, hold up.
My mother don't apologize for shit ever. I ain't saying your mom's a narc, but it's when you can't be, whatever, that's dangerous to someone. It's an emotional wound. It's psychological damage that we always downplay.
So before I interject with my statement, I've been Googling words to say, because you come up here with your education. Don't you surmise my ideas down to the equivalent? But no, honestly, in all honesty, first off, I hear what you're really telling me. I hear the anecdotal, I hear what you're really telling me. But we're talking about the collective, and not everybody is the same, you know. And like I said, if you have to protect yourself, you got to protect yourself. It is what it is. You know, you have to think about, you know, yourself, how it's going to affect your kids, and you know, long-term thinking. So, you know, I get that, but I'm talking about the overall, because overall the numbers are going down. Some people just market it up as, yeah, I'm too busy, or yeah, I'm this, or yeah, I got this going on. And like, and look, this could be, you know, recency, whatever, recency guilt. But I had a cousin that I grew up with, and I was really, really close with him. And then like we didn't talk because I stayed far from him, you know. And then we met back up when we was older, but we already had families and stuff, and we missed out on that time. So it was like, I ain't gonna say weird, but it was kind of like different because we're not kids no more. You know what I mean? And he passed away. He passed away, and I felt really guilty because he stayed where my mama stayed. You know what I mean? Like I could have easily went up there, said what's up, or did whatever, and it's just like I feel like nowadays we talk about the way society's going and how it's affecting us, but it's like we don't realize how it's affecting the people who don't think they're affected, right? It's just like whenever you look back, everything like you be like, dang, time is changing. But when you're in the moment, you don't feel it. You know what I mean? You're like, nah, you know, it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? Like you've adjusted to it. Like when you get in cold water and your body adjusts to it, you've adjusted to it. But you look back in hindsight, like, oh my God, so much has changed. I think it's something like that. Because like I said, I feel really, really guilty that I didn't go see my cousin and he stayed in the apartment complex. And like when I'm talking about the effects of society on you that you might not notice, I mean, like everything's so rapid. We're also busy. We're making so much money too. Like this is a pretty good time to work. Like think about it. The minimum wage hasn't raised, but people are still making over the minimum wage. Some places, not all places, but most places. You know, and people just they've traded in personal time for phone time and money. And I think that has a lot to do with a lot of people not going to the family reunions. Because like you said, look, Big Mama, I can only speak for my grandma. Now look, my grandma was crazy. I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I tell you crazy, like it's supposed like I might be crazy and not know it, you know, because I think I'm normal. It turned out being raised by, but she was really ruthless. I remember one time, uh, she used to say stuff. And I remember one day, like I used to always have to walk home. You know what I mean? And sometimes she would come get me. And I would get tired of waiting because everybody would be gone after school. Like it's an hour after school and I'm still there waiting. Everybody gone, my friends gone, I'm just sitting there. One day I fell asleep. She had to come get me up off the bench because I fell asleep, right? So I was like, man, I ain't doing that. My mom worked not that far from there, so I would just walk to the store, go eat, because I was hungry on top of that. Go eat, and then, you know, um, whatever. Go eat and then go home from there. And she got mad one day because she went to the school and she went to the school from the store. She said, "Don't," she said, don't do that again. Don't leave school. Stay at school." I'm like, what? I'm like, man, all my friends be gone. She was like, you heard what I said. Now, my grandma was a gangster. It just is what it is. I like, man. She was like, and don't smack your lips at me. I'm like, habit. I swear to God, I wouldn't be in the fire. Like, man, come on. And then she stopped the car, got out into the street. Bow! She slapped the hell out of me. I was super duper embarrassed. I mean, I was more embarrassed than hurt. And I ain't gonna lie, that it hurt, but I was more embarrassed. And that's what I grew up with. But like I said, it's like there's no perfect way to parent in life. You know what I mean? And that would be considered abuse today. So I ain't doing that to my son or anything. But I'm just saying, like, you got to remember. I feel like you're being too harsh. That's the right words that I'm using, Jay. Jay, you're being too harsh. Every Black person is the victim of SA from generation to generation and never been dealt with. They never offered us therapy or anything. So they just doing the best they can with what they got. Our parents didn't have the information that we got, and their parents didn't have the information they got. So why are we judging them with the information that we have and hold them to the standard that we have now?
First of all, I'm cracking up because Thinker said his grandma sounded like Medea. I think what did it was the sound effects for the car. The car stopped and her slamming on the brakes. I mean, like, I get you, I hear you, and I have gotten that critique before. I am a person of a high level of intensity. It's not the first time I heard that. And I think for me, and I haven't always been like this, and I think context matters. I think that I have always been somewhat of a people pleaser, especially when it came to my family. And if you know anything about people pleasing, you just kind of stay in this perpetual state of just trying to prove, trying to do more and more and more and more and more. You self-abandon, you self-deal, like all of these different things. And even with seeing those kind of traits, just naturally in like my kids or whatever, I'm like, oh, we're not doing that. Like you can just be, right? Because you inherit those things. They're passed down, and you can get some of the good things. You can also get some of the bad things. I think because I am on a journey of just healing, I take that very seriously. I take that very seriously above all else, because I now have 2 children that need me to be okay so I can be okay for them, right? I think that it's okay to have grace and use your discernment on when you should be in community with someone, and when not to, right? I think that the situation that you discussed with your cousin is just more or less like being caught up in just the capitalistic world we live in. Okay, we still got time. We still got time. We still got time. And that's something that I often deal with sometimes too. Like, I'm no contact with several of my family members, several. So it's like, what outweighs what? Now, in your case, it sounds like you and your cousin, y'all was homeboys. You could have just made more time in this, that, and the third. That's a scheduling thing. That's just a desire, and not even a necessarily desire, because someone has said something to me like family doesn't. It's not always about when you are family with someone. You have to do things when you really don't want to do it. That's really what showing up as a village is, and showing up as a family member. And because I have that in other relationships that are not my biological relationships, like, I kind of think like, oh shit, I really don't want to, but I know that I'm forging a community. I know that I'm forging a village with this person. So let me still show up anyway. I think
flag on the play. Flag on the play. So you would show up for people that are non-family, but would not show up to a family reunion?
You absolutely motherfucking correct.
Sister, you don't see the hypocrisy in that?
Hell no.
See, that's a big word. Hypocrisy. Let me open up my dictionary for you. Hypocrisy, sister. Hold up. You can't do that. You can't be like that. You can't be selective.
The reason I'm very selective. I'm very selective with my time. I'm very intentional with my energy. I show up for the people who show up for me. I'm showing up for the people who show up for me. And is it my fault that they're not my biological family, but they show up more like they are? I'm showing up for the person who's showing up for me. I'm going where I am celebrated on all fronts. On all fronts. On all
Hold on, sister. Were you tapping something just now? You was tapping something when you was talking just now, sister?
How you know?
I heard you. I heard it in your voice. I heard it, and you matched the beat with
it. Finger, and I meant that shit. Absolutely. I surely was. I said, how you know? My camera, no.
So look, let me tell you why I disagree with that. That's why I knew it was gonna be this. That's why I put disagreement day. So yes, I do get what you're saying, but you're talking about the day-to-day. So the day-to-day circle you have a little bit more control over. The family reunion is just one day out of the year. If you do not want to do it for what the politicians always say, do it for the children.
And
what about the children?
To that negativity? Why? My children don't need to be around that. And to be quite honest with you, we don't even have no family reunions in my family. Somebody drunk, somebody fighting, somebody don't like somebody. Why even expose them to that level of toxicity off all of the strength of so they can know who their family is? Like, that don't make no sense. When you think about it, take the emotions out of it. Just think about it from a logical standpoint. I'm going to subject myself, me and my children, who I am responsible for, protecting them, their well-being, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all these different things. I'm going to take them to a place where it could potentially be harmful to their safety, their psyche. They can see, like, for what? All because of the strength of it's a family reunion, baby. We can pack our shit up, go to the beach, and have a good day.
See, and that is true. And some of the best times have been when we was poor and me and my brother was just doing some stuff together with us, my mom, whatever the case may be. And that's true. You create memories. But I do also remember having Thanksgiving at the house and spending times and being really excited to see my other cousins. And that was a great time too as well. Like I don't know. It was just, I was close with my cousins because we would all meet up and let's just say my mom would have beefed with their mom. And like that would have robbed me from that experience. See, what I'm hearing, sister, is you saying, I know the parent of this person and I don't want to expose them to that type of stuff. But it's like, what about the kid? Didn't the relationship with the kid be different? Can messed up parents still have kids that have good relationships with your kid? Like that's literally like I said, Romeo and Juliet. And this is why I do not understand. It's another hypocrisy I'm finding in you, sister. That love is love is blind type of stuff. Well, then why ain't family
I
love
never said
blind?
love is blind.
Or love don't got a race, or love don't got color, or some
I never said
Disney
that
Channel
either.
Hallmark Club stuff y'all over here spewing to try to date the man. I know y'all try to do. Y'all get real poetic and stuff get real loose when it comes to dating the man. Y'all be like, what is love really? Y'all turn into Maya Angelou. What happens to a dream deferred? Like, nah, we ain't doing that. We talking facts. We talk facts over here. Nah, don't do that.
Good choice. Ain't nobody worried about please. You know who you talking to, right?
Now, sister, remind me who I'm talking to.
Oh yeah, now see, you want me to go there. I'm not going there with you. You ain't trying to bait me out.
Hold on, I got a drop for you. I'm gonna bring it out. Here we go.
As soon as I said that, Mama Oya blew my cell phone off the stand. As soon as I named the NBA as a suspect, Mama Oya, and now the wins is coming. Soon when I said the NBA, Orisha Oya blew my phone off the stand. That's not proof that it was the NBA, but that's damn sure some good evidence.
Now come on, sister, channel Mama Oya.
It's some good evidence. I feel him on that. I feel him on that.
Now remind us who you talking to, sister. Remind us who we talking to, because you gotta remember, my audience don't know. Your audience know. My audience don't know. Sister, remind them who they talking to. Reintroduce yourself.
You're right. Hey, peace and love, everyone. No, I am a woman of, again, very high standard. I'm very intentional in all of my relationships. I've been saying that on this live the whole entire time. So the standards that I have for my family and my friendships, I am even more have them for romantic relationships, because who you are partnered with, who you are engaging with, especially if you are engaging in some physical contact, has a really, really like direct correlation to who you are going to be and the quality of your life. So if you think that I'm being strict and I'm running a strict program with the family, can you only imagine a man? This is probably why I've been single this whole long time, because I'm not playing no games, especially not with me. You feel what I mean? So when you make comments like, oh, well, if a man looks a certain way, a woman makes certain allowances, he can kind of get away with more. I don't agree with that. That's never been a thing, even before my healing journey, ever. Like, that's not something that even crosses my mind. Okay. So I just want everyone to be able to take themselves seriously. And I think that, like, it's just been passed down to be like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. Oh, yeah, it is. Well, I'm just a woman. Nah, fuck that. You are who you are. We are all creators of our own universe, and you should be at the center. You should get what you want, and you can if you decide that that's what you want to do. That's it.
Oh, hold on, sister. What you see, and this is, I feel like you being disingenuous. Where are these silly women at? The women is not doing. See, we gotta go with the numbers, and we gotta go with black women. First off, black people are resilient. There's no doubt about that. That's why they was like, hey, let's put some syphilis in these people, see what happens to them. But no, black people are resilient, and I mean, the number one educated group, Chat GTP, don't judge me. Basically told me it's black women. It confirmed it. It's black women, especially in terms of master degrees and stuff like that. So it's like, where are these women at? That's just, I'm just a woman. I don't know. I just doing the best. Like, nah, that's a myth. Those women. Now they do exist, but for the most part, it ain't. A lot of them, in my opinion.
No, I think that you are, what I hear you doing is you are equating a woman's ability to obtain a higher level of education to her self-worth and her value. There are so many women who have PhDs getting dogged by a nigga right now. You hear what I'm saying?
Hold up. For my boxing audience, where can we find these alleged women at?
Oh, please. Oh, y'all don't listen. Every RN I know got a hood nigga. Okay. Every woman, not everyone, but you get what I'm saying? Like, just don't equate like this book smarts to she has a high esteem about herself. Okay. Like that, those two things don't necessarily correlate all the time. One would think, like, well, you gotta know better, but they don't. They still have this this like sense of self that's, you know, kind of poor, low self-esteem, low self-worth, you know, that was passed down from Big Mama and them, okay, that they never truly unpacked.
There she go. There she goes.
From. And now she laid up with whoever treating her any old kind of way. He's stressing her out before the job. She can't even go to work and provide. You feel what I mean? So, you know, I don't necessarily think about a woman who has had master degrees or even has amassed a certain level of success. That doesn't mean that she feels that way inwardly. Much like, you know, the same is true. A man can be an alpha man because he makes a whole bunch of money, but you can look at him and tell he really not like that. He's really a lame. The same is true with the BBL girls. You know what I'm saying? Bitches get a BBL and they think that they're going to somehow turn into Bernice Burgos. But the whole thing is, sister, you still don't have that thing about you because you really never was like that. You just got a big butt now. You feel what I'm saying? It's nothing worse than a bitch who just got a BBL, but she's never really been that kind of girl. And you can just see it on her. You just got the look, but you ain't got that heart. Now you're dealing with people who you never really dealt with before. You can't even handle no fine shit for real. Now you overly depressed. Now you got self-esteem is plummeting with the big butt. Like don't equate an education. Let me back it up.
I knew she was gonna do that. I knew she was gonna do that. See, 1 minute Jay talking about positive body image and positivity for women. The next, them BBLs stink and and you should be going out there get with it, because if you ain't that B, you never gonna be that B. You see how they do? You see how they do me?
What I'm saying is you should be doing the work. You have
so what's the work?
Inner work. You have to unpack and unlearn the things that are giving you limited beliefs about yourself, limited beliefs about your circumstances. Okay. So that way you can align and you can bring forth the things that you are supposed to have. You know, a lot of times people are just going, we're just doing, we're just moving, we're just grooving. You know, a lot of people make money, don't even know how to even you know, be a steward over their money. You feel what I'm saying? They just doing whatever because it's like, oh, I just got a whole bunch of money. You don't even know what it really means. You know, we're just always in action. We're not really sitting with what we need to sit with. We're not really learning what we need to learn. We're not unlearning those things. And we're becoming adults. We're all aging. We're all growing. And then it's like, you know, before you know it, it's just like, yeah, I'm a 50-year-old bachelor, lonely as shit, simping out. And I, you know, now I'm a trans maxer or some weird shit.
Well, a lot of things to unpack there. So y'all got to be careful with Jay. You know, Jay will put you on the couch. I don't know what she do for a living, but she got an ability of putting a nigga on the couch. You know, I'll be over there and she'd be like, so how does it make you feel when they do that? She got a notepad out and everything. Y'all got to be careful with her. She'll put you on that couch quick.
Please be very careful with me. Thank you so much.
So, but I will say this, Jay. I will say this. If most people are talking about, you know, self-esteem and working on self, wouldn't that mean that most people have self-esteem issues? And if we're talking specifically to a certain race, I mean, Black people, of course we're going to have self-esteem issues. They were cutting off our penises. Like they literally were like, you know, telling us that we were ugly. Our hair was offensive to them, which is why we got the Crown Act. Everything about us was offensive to the entire country. And that's like, you don't have to take scholar word for it. There's history books that confirm everything that I'm saying. So of course we're going to have image problems. Like, look at everything around us, all the superheroes. We were so proud to just get a Black superhero Wakanda where we wasn't negatively depicted. Like, that's how crazy the imagery is to Black people. So with all that being said, most people have self-esteem issues. It's exactly what you said. It's about that little voice in your head. Because some people get a haircut and that little voice tell them you the shit. And they walk and act like they the shit because of a haircut. Really was it the haircut? Because when your hair was beady balled up, you got the little peas on your head, you just all of a sudden there was a before and after picture, and it was two different dudes. And it was like me before the haircut, and it was a completely different dude than the dude after the haircut. They were trying to show how, how haircuts make you turn into a different person. But no, most people have self-esteem issues. I was able to. It's so crazy that, and this is men in general. When men are younger and they're coming into they're in their absolute primes, they're not the most confident when they're physically. It's when they grow in life experiences and lessons that don't break them and teach them lessons is when they become more secure mentally. Like I'll be most of the time I'd be like Uncle Denzel. You know, Denzel just sometimes I don't never rock the baldy, but sometimes his hair be all over the place and stuff like that. But we all know Uncle Denzel confident. Uncle Denzel is so confident. People look at his walk and talk about his walk. Everything he say, they hang on. He be like, when you get out of bed, don't reach for the phone. You know what I'm saying? My nigga, you know what I mean? They be like, yeah, Denzel up here cooking. He can say whatever because he has a self-belief about himself. That little voice in his head reaffirms to him that he's the stuff. And that's what you work on. You work on strengthening that little voice in your head. That's all the self-improvement and all these money that they shelling out. That's all it really says at the end of the day.
That's right. I agree. And I feel like we should be focusing more on that, the inner workings, as opposed to what all of those things on the outside is. I feel like, what's that expression? You put the cart before the wagon, the horse before the wagon, or something like this. And what I'm realizing is, when you get the inner workings together, it will show outwardly,
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay. There was a girl that had a video the other day, and she said, what did she say? Oh my God. It was a term that she had where people are shaming the better looking women in society. Women are, she was saying, because a woman made a response video to her video and was like, oh yeah, well, you should try being ugly. It was really confusing. I was like, wait a minute, what? I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, this is like, I ain't gonna lie, it was comedy because people find anything to fight about. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna be honest with you, on your channel, every time you go live, somebody talking about how beautiful you is. You know what I mean? You come over here, somebody said that you was beautiful too, as well. So pretty privileged. Definitely suits you whenever you're coming from these perspectives. So, I'm glad that we got balance on here, so I could provide a perspective for the ugly people. Because like I tell everybody, ugly is not something that that you are. You just got to find it out. Like if people are always just staring at you and then laughing or snickering, or if you go to a club and you don't get in, even though you're wearing all the right stuff, it's just something that you have to learn over time, the research and stuff. But hey, ugly people get people all the time. You know what I mean? So we got to work on, as Jay said, that inner voice. That inner voice. What term did you put on? Because she gonna put the education on. What'd you say, Jay, specifically?
I don't know. I said a lot. Just the inner workings or something.
The inner work. See, hold up. See how you don't remember what you said. That leads me to believe you just be arguing.
No, it's not. It's just that I am just very passionate and I speak from my heart. And so sometimes I'm just talking, I'm flowing because I just feel what I'm saying. Not that I'm not for the sake of argument, but I do feel like, it's important. And especially for Black women of color, specifically Black women, though, we need to be able to have these conversations, and we need to have spaces where it's okay to be like, nah, I'm not going for that. And I know I deserve this. And this is what I want, and that's okay. And you don't have to shrink. You don't have to shape shift and change this and do all of that. Like, you are deserving and all that you are. The idea that somebody is ugly, air quote, like
air quote. Now we know when somebody ugly. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We know when somebody ugly.
I mean, like, ugly to who? To you?
No, universally ugly is a real thing.
So here's the thing. unconventional. It's unconventional beauty, right? You know, like
Oh my God! Did you really just try to tag a word on the window?
it
Come on.
is because if we're going to be completely honest, by the white European standards, I'm a dark skinned woman with full lips and a big nose. I'm unconventionally beautiful, ugly to someone, or beautiful, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say.
Okay, but that lie never stuck. That's why they're getting. That's why Kylie Jenner had a lip challenge. That's why all the Kardashians look like all the features they've been telling us is ugly. That's why people are down on the operation table to look like us. So that lie didn't stick. So no.
But you see my point though. Like you can't just say, "Oh, somebody's ugly," and like who knows? I think that, like, again, I think it all starts from with how you feel about yourself. You know, every time I watch 600-Pound Life, I don't care how big, how ugly, she got her man. You know what I'm saying? She got the.
I think that them be actors. I'm convinced those are actors.
Nah, they ain't no actors.
Well, they get a check or something. Maybe that's unconventional. Not unconventional. Unconditional love. Maybe that's what it looks like. That even though
it's baby chasers, niggas like big girls.
That's not a big girl. That is not a big. If you got to wheel your ass around Walmart, and then oh my God, did you see the spoof of that? They was always like I love food at the beginning. I just love food so much. It's like, oh my God, like this has to be scripted. Why every person on there just love food? You obviously love food. You didn't get the 1,000 pounds by eating kale. Like, I don't know. I think it's just scripted. I know TV scripted a lot. So
no, that shit don't. Why do you think it's scripted?
Why do I think it's scripted? It's too. As a content creator, because as a big time content creator now, doing my thing, I'm able to recognize certain stuff. I always tell my wife that when we go to movie theater, I'm like, he gonna kill him and they gonna all die in the end. She be like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a content creator now, so I know how this stuff is gonna go. But no, I just know editing now that I edit, and I even noticed. Do you ever see people facial expression change throughout the entire? Then you're like, oh, they're edited. I didn't notice this before. I was a content creator, but there is no way that this person is 1,000 pounds. First off, I always have two questions. How the hell do they wash their ass? And I know that them creases that they got stink. That's what I tell myself. And secondly, why would they agree to put themselves on TV? And then they always start off the same way. The episode starts off with their love for food.
But see, you don't even realize how you are like othering them when they're just regular people. You're othering them and they're just regular people. Now, granted, they got some things to work through and they sick or whatever, they got some addictions and this, that, and the third. But just because they big don't mean that they don't have love. Just because they big don't mean that they're not gonna have somebody. You are like, who gonna wash their ass? That nigga. Okay? That nigga is washing their ass. The nigga is the bidet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? And I think because I guess it's not so mainstream, but like, yeah, like if think about it like this, and this is we're talking about the nature of a man. Okay? The nature of a man. All right? Mm-hmm. They will put they drawn in a hole in the wall. You feel what I'm saying? So the idea that just because a woman is big or she's 600 pounds or whatever, 300, 400, whatever, that he wouldn't fool with her. That's just because you wouldn't. Doesn't mean that they wouldn't. And when you other them like that, it's just like it's a kink for real to some niggas. Let's start there. Sometimes it's a kink. Okay. Just like, we got the people who be like, oh yeah, I like the little people, the dwarfs and shit. Like it's a lane for everybody. Mm-hmm. And because you don't like it or it's something that you wouldn't do doesn't mean that other people don't have those type of desires. Barbie said a lot of times these big people, they are depressed and there are mental health issues that go along with it. So it's not just they love food.
That is the point that I'm making. But they start every episode off with, I love food. It's like, it's so like, I don't know. I get the format that they're using and what they're trying to portray. Barbie being this big time content creator, we have certain formula. No, hold on. Let me address this. See, Jay like to do a lot of distractions. I know a little tactics now. First off, she just put me on the couch. If y'all didn't notice it, she tried to put me on the couch and make me a judgmental MFer. So I caught that in real time. But see, I knew she was gonna try to do that. So I already had a plan for it. Every time Jay put me on the couch, this is me.
Yeah. And when you are, for instance, when we were here before, you know what? I mean, all the things ever printed in the tabloid, the only thing's ever been true is when they said I couldn't dance.
It doesn't seem to matter, and it doesn't seem.
You were like in between shots, running off, conceiving the dance, choreographing the dance. You were up all night dancing.
Every day, and she did it.
That's what I'm doing, Jay. It ain't gonna work. Your tactics, your education. I see what you're doing. I see it, but it ain't gonna work. So first things first. The body positivity stuff, I do not agree with. Right? I do not agree with it because I give you an example. Lizzo. The Lizzo fine. I'm gonna be honest with you. Lizzo's a pretty big girl. You know what I mean? But every week she was crying. She was crying to America about people not accepting her for who she was, right? And then Lizzo went and did the unthinkable. She just started working out to lose weight because she clearly wasn't happy with herself. And you can't force reality to be the way you would like it to be. Reality is what it is. And that's the long and the short of it. Like, you can't force it to, like, yeah, if we had this much power, I mean, cancer would be ice cream. If I had that much power, wave my wand, cancer would be ice cream. It would be nothing. But that's not a reality. And the reality is, people that are that size, they are on the show because they feel a need to change. They don't like being 1,000 pounds. Matter of fact, I'll give you an example. You know what I mean? There was a white dude on there one time. I wish I could. If I'd have known who was on top, I would have had this clip ready. But he basically was with the woman, and she was like, "Yeah, he says he doesn't have a problem with bathing me, but I know he does." And he was like, "No, baby, I don't." Whenever they were doing the interview together in the back, you know what I mean? And then whenever he was bathing her funky ass, he was like making a disgusting face, and he did the interview by himself afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, it's disgusting." You know what I mean? And it's like, you listen. Every decision that you ever make, including the food that you put to your lips, is going to affect somebody. We are a society, right? And your immediate family is going to have a direct effect. You have to be conscious of these type of things, right? And that's why they made a conscious effort to change their body, right? Because if they keep going that way, they're going to die from these sicknesses that exist. A sickness don't care what the scholar think. Diabetes don't care what the scholar think. Remember Big Mama got her foot took in soul food? You know what I mean? They ain't had nothing to do with the scholar. So reality is reality. You have to change your lifestyle. It just is what it is. Jaden, doze off on me.
No, I'm here. I didn't doze off. I hear you though, but I don't.
Not you breaking out the snacks.
What? I'm just saying.
Not you breaking out the fruit snacks. Shout out to Jay for breaking out the fruit snacks. But no. Oh, hold on. As I told y'all earlier, Jay put me on the couch, right? And before she even come off mute, I already know what she's gonna say. You know, since we're in the Michael Jackson spirit, this what she's gonna say. This is her. Let me sum up her response to me in a nutshell.
You've had implants in your cheeks.
Oh God.
You've had a dimple made in your chin.
Please,
You've had your lips enlarged. You've had your eyelids reconstructed, eyelids reconstructed.
Stupid.
None of it's
Come
true.
on, none of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie. They don't want to give me credit for anything.
You've had.
That's gonna be her response. Oh, come on, Scholar, it's BS. You made it up.
That's not true. That's not true at all. I think we're having two different conversations. I think that people in general don't understand that, like, how everyone likes the other bigger people, bigger body people, and how it just, like, impacts the general society. Like, everybody's like, oh yeah, well, you can't be attractive, you can't be this. They say the same thing about Black women. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I just don't subscribe to that.
Wait a minute, you equating obese people to Black women? You can't control color.
And sometimes people, like, are naturally bigger. Like,
I don't go off of these diagrams that they put out for Black women and what our body and BMI should.
See, no, I agree with that.
I think you have too much trust in the doctors and the professionals.
Oh, don't say the man. Don't you say the white man system. Don't you do that system. No. So I do agree. So because look, this is me talking about boxing. So Mike Tyson was like 5'9", and then on a good day 5'10" maybe, but he was like 220 pounds. According to the diagram, he would be obese. He would be like, they would require him to lose weight. So I do get that it's not one prototype that fits all. But we are talking about the extreme. 1,000 pounds. That is the extreme. They have otherized themselves. That's not normal to be walking around 1,000 pounds. I don't care what Venn diagram. I just thought out fancy words now because you were in college. What Venn diagram?
I'm not in college. Venn diagram is diabolical.
Now, I don't care what metrics or system that you use. It's still obese. That is definitely obese. As they will, they got to get around on a scooter. They can't even walk.
All right, so we're talking about 600-pound life, right? All right, cool. Now let's just all agree that might be a real extreme case. Okay, like let's just say that's an extreme case, but the average person, like they're not the fucking slimmest, smallest person. Like I just feel like us trying to be like, oh, well, they need to be like this and they're unconventional. Like it's just not realistic. And 9 times out of 10, the average man is dealing with an average sized woman who possibly and later down in life will probably be bigger. You feel what I'm saying? And then like people just have the propensity to be bigger. I think that it's not about what is on the outside. I think it's about how you feel. There are certain and several women who are very thin, and men who are very physically fit and in shape and could croak the day tomorrow. You feel what I'm saying? This idea that people are so concerned about health is bullshit. That's not a real thing. Niggas don't care about no health. They care about what it looked like. Now, when it's rooted in something for real, then we can have the conversation. But
wait a minute. Hold up.
We're talking about beauty standards here. We're not talking about health and obesity and cholesterol and all that type of shit. That is it's just a talking point that make it sound good. You feel what I mean? It is.
Sister, hold up.
Niggas don't care about that.
Let me tell you, sister. We finna go. Sister, pull out your notepad. I know you educated people like to write down.
And Barbie's very educated. She's eating it up in the comments. I'm seeing you, sister. He said you can't choose your race and you can't choose your weight. For example, people who live in low-income communities have to buy cheaper food that's better for you, that gets you fatter. Not to mention they grow up in food deserts where they don't even have access to proper food, produce, gyms, anything like this. Like environment plays a huge part, and y'all don't understand how being obese or being bigger or not having the best foods and having a bigger body is a byproduct of racism. Now we can go there.
So look,
I want to stay in the arena of aesthetics because I know that that makes more sense. But it's eating. You're absolutely right, Barbie eating it up. Let's go, Barbie.
So I hate to be this guy. I don't want to be this guy. But I completely disagree with you and Barbie. And let me tell you why. I was one of the people that grew up in one of these little towns that only had one food store, right? But we were active. And we just talked about, you and I talked about how the kids don't go outside. There is actual science that says if you sit all day, no matter what you do, you know what I mean, how good you eat, it's still bad for you. You can't just be sitting. It's bad for your heart. Heart disease is the number one killer in America, right? We have to get up. We have to be more active. There's no excuse. Now, I will disagree also with the point that you said that dudes just like what they see. Now, Jay, I want you to think about this. You know what I mean, in terms of science, because I know you educated. You know what I mean. You always throwing around the big words. You know what I mean, like how Oprah throw out new cars now, sister. But people like people based on their genetics. So, and I remember watching this documentary one time. I actually showed little clips and snipped and clipped it up over here of how women, like, I'm pretty sure you had a dude that you liked the way he smelled, right? Like if he was not completely musty, but maybe you've been working out a little bit and you like the way you smell. That's just genetics that women like. They like voices based on genetics. It means that the dude produce a lot of testosterone during puberty and that they'll pass it to their kids. They like sweat, how they look whenever they sweat. It's a lot of stuff that they like about men that they don't know that they like about men that's based in biology. So sometimes you could see health in biology. I even looked at why dudes like more curvaceous women, and they said that it had to do with childbearing. And I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense, because like it's ass. You know what I mean? Like, what? Why would an ass drive somebody crazy? And it's because it has to do with childbirth. I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense evolutionary wise. But if you look at the people who they deem the most attractive, I guarantee it would be based in biology of what they think is going to be the best genes passed down to their kids, which has to do with health as well. So it ain't just all as simple as you make it. You know, you made it just ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. It's not. It's nuance. It's nuance. That's what I'll say to that.
Very lightly nuanced. Most people ain't thinking like that. Maybe they are thinking about it. It's just naturally in their subconscious. But people want what society has deemed as most beautiful, most attractive. And it's usually white, thin, and submissive. And the sooner we all agree that that's really what's pushed, we can have different conversations. You feel what I'm saying? Because it just is what it is, you know? And I think to dogpile on people who are bigger or whatever, it's just feeding into that kind of like that same type of rhetoric, just in a different way. Just in a different way. You know, being bigger body comes with a whole different set of stigmas attached to it. And then don't add race on top of it. God forbid you are fat and black. You understand what I'm saying? And so I just like to be very careful when I'm discussing certain things, because again, people ain't talking about if you healthy or not. And I hear your point of, you know, and I do agree that, you know, it is a part of just how our brains are wired and evolution and everything like this. But if you agree that people or women, some women will bypass certain things about a man if he looks good enough, the same can be true for men in dating women who just look good but are probably unhealthy. You understand what I'm saying? The same could be true. They don't care if the woman is bigger, still beautiful. They'll take the woman who is more conventionally beautiful, but she got the herpes or some shit like this.
Oh, no, sister, no.
Or the diabetes. All right, diabetes. I'll say diabetes.
I was finna say no. That's crazy. So listen, you know.
Don't underestimate that. That's the thing.
That's I know. I can't speak for nobody else. I can only speak for Scotland. And hell no. But check this out though. Check this out. You know, if a woman is living not a healthy lifestyle, her bacteria gonna be messed up. She gonna have bad gut flora. She gonna have her pH balance gonna be all off. So no, it still affect them negatively.
You talking about who?
An unhealthy woman.
But an unhealthy woman can be the same. Just because she's a smaller woman is not perceived. You would think that she's more healthy because she's smaller. That's not the truth. These bitches be drinking Hennessy, Coke, not a water bottle in sight, but because she has a smaller body, you might assume that she's healthier. And
then that Henny gonna go straight to the walls and mess up that pH balance system. And what I'm trying to tell you is you pay for it in the end. But I don't know what to see in this. I gotta remember this too. Location. They're like real estate. Me and you in two different areas. Yeah. I don't know. We don't down south. We talk about, you know, women being thick and good eating and southern food and all this other stuff. Well, that stuff went out in the 90s. You remember in the 90s when Little Richard was on TV with them women with them tights on, the white women they was out there working out and stuff like that. Them days.
Gene Simmons.
Yes.
You said Little Richard.
I thought it was Richard Simmons.
Oh yeah, Richard Simmons. Yeah,
Richard Simmons. He was out there, you know what I mean, doing all that thing. Like them days is dead. Like thick is in. Like that's why they're going to get the BBLs. They ain't going to get the reduction.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make it bigger. So, I mean, I disagree with that, sister. What's good, Shanta? No, I disagree with that. I don't know what the hell's going on. What's the climate like out there?
What you mean? Right
What's
now,
it,
cold 70-degree weather.
Nah, we you know, come on, see. What you asked me a while ago, who am I talking to now? Am I talking to somebody that beat around the bush? What is the climate like out there? Because you keep saying skinny girls are in. Is that what it's like where you're from?
I think that bigger bodies are more accepted down south. And I've always been thicker. And then when I moved to the south, I was like, like in the south, they have this thing called big fine. You know what big fine is. You're from the south a little bit, right? So
no, sister, I don't know nothing about that. My lusty,
you've never heard of big fine?
I don't got no lusty heart, sister. I don't even look at women. You know what I mean? Me and my wife had an arranged marriage, but go ahead, sister.
Oh, wow. Well, anyway, big fine women are like taller, like big Megan Thee Stallion are like Amazonians, but they're like thicker though, like the pear-shaped joints that's like big, but they thick though, but it's shapely. So I grew up thinking that I was thick, and I'm tall too. I'm 5'7". So I'm like, well, I'm like big fine, like, you know what I mean? They're like, girl, no, that ain't it. You ain't big, like, you know, because I'm not super big, you know, in comparison to the girls who are like real meaty, like got the ham hocks on them. Now in the north, it's more or less like the northeast, I should say. And I also too, like you said, where you live, it's mixed, it's integrated, and so like thick, you know, is just a different interpretation up here than it is down there. You know, I think it's more like a lot of girlies are running, a lot of girlies are active, a lot of girlies are in the Pilates, you know what I mean? And you know, like small petite, you know, I'm so small and tiny, he's so big and tall, like girlies want the small waist, you know what I mean? Like,
hold on, let me stop you there. So did you say you tall, you 5'7"?
Yeah.
Okay, proceed, because I don't think that's tall, but go ahead, sister.
Right, but see, like where I am, like a lot of guys think like, oh wow, you're tall, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, like I am taller than the average woman. Like the average woman's like 5'6", 5'5". I'm 5'7", you know? So I think where you live does play a part on like how, like what the beauty standards are for real.
So what we learned today, 5'7" is tall wherever Jay is from. So make sure you don't go there. You know what I mean? But if you're a man and you consider low value, that might be the place you might want to be, because you might tower over them. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know, Jay. You might have to come find your husband down south.
I promise you, I think you down there somewhere.
Because that's insane. Like they're out there championing the 90s body when I was all hips and no ass and small stomachs. What?
Yeah,
okay.
It's given, you know, like people want to fit bod. At least, or what I should say is this, because then there's also implications of like, you know, where you live, where you work, you know, your socioeconomic status, right? Like the circles that I'm in, it's given that.
Wait, hold up. So y'all ain't got no food deserts out there?
Oh yeah.
So then why wouldn't they value what was around them and what's in the rest of the United States? That don't make any sense.
What you mean?
So they're gonna be if there's food deserts,
there's food deserts everywhere.
I know, but is it a majority there?
Yeah, I would say sure, because we have a population here.
So that means they was growing up around the women that you were describing, the food deserts and stuff like that. Why wouldn't they value what they're only accustomed to seeing, especially if the whole United States sees it pretty much the same way? Like thick is in. That don't make any sense.
Okay, so maybe if thick is in, and maybe it's more or less like, well, if you cannot be thick and you have a toned body, that means you kind of like are above the pack a little bit. It's not status quo.
Let me tell you something, Jay. And you know, this is just me being a big time, you know, YouTube creator. You know what I mean? Spike Lee, count your days. Count your days. But no, so there was a guy named the Liver King, right? And the Liver King, are you familiar with the story?
No, I never heard of him. Mm-mm.
The Liver King. So the Liver King had abs, right? And he had a big bushy beard. And he was convincing young people that he was getting all this by eating just raw meats and livers. Well, it turns out Liver King was on steroids. I just seen a girl the other day from Cali, and she was toned up, right? And my wife like, she got a fine body. I'm like, she's from Cali. That's probably surgery and steroids. They do that out there. It's Hollywood. They get like they don't do steroids. I put it all in one. But HGH, human growth hormone, is a common thing that everybody produces. Men produce it more than women, of course, because testosterone and all that other stuff. But women will take it. Halle Berry, all the actors take it so they can stay youthful because it helps you stay youthful as well, and it will give you toned muscles. So they just get the surgery, take that, and work out, and then start talking about hard work and dedication. We just live in a fake society. People take pictures of food. Check this out. Remember the cousin I was saying? Let me tell you about how crazy my cousin is. I was really close with them too. And they were polar opposites. One of them was really like, a moral principle. The other was like, cheated, wagged the finger, hard work, dedication. It was hilarious, their duality of them. But we used to go to the gym, and it was a white dude that used to go in there every day. And she would take a picture of his treadmill, of him, like his miles, and she would post it on her Facebook. I don't think it was story at the time. It might have just been timeline. Maybe it was Snapchat. Can't remember. It's been a while. And she would post it on there with an inspirational quote about hard work and dedication. But she naturally had a toned body. She really was really super duper lazy, which I imagine I ain't seen my cousin in a long time. She probably done blew up. You know what I mean? But yeah, she used to do that. And that made me realize how fake society is. It's about what people think of you than what you actually are, type stuff. So the people that you were talking about that are like fit, I don't even look at those channels. The only time I look at them is if it's something that I like about them. Like when I used to have dreads, I used to like people's, I was part of a whole dread group. You know what I mean? And I love dreads for Black people. But sadly, the man got a hold of me and I no longer have dreads. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I would subscribe to them if they were fit and had dreads, not because they were fit. I feel like it's stupid. It's bullshit. It's just like the couples. A prime example. And this is up your alley right here. Remy Ma and Pap. Remy Ma and Pap. They the definition of Black love. Sometimes, listen, people don't even realize they put pressure on them to stay in a relationship that was already over by making them the face of Black love.
They did. They did.
Could you really go out there and break up when little kids is out there? I want to be like Remy. I want to love like Remy and Pat. People putting it in songs and everything. You like, oh my God, that was so much pressure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't real. Like Michelle, like I say, I always go back to this, come back full circle. Barack and Michelle were real. You could see at times they really couldn't stand each other. And you could also see Michelle is she Black. You know what I mean? She not, we got different types of Black people. She Black. Like the look she get Barack Obama, it's like, mother,
Black woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, come on, nigga. Like, what you like, cut it out, knock it off. So they are Black. And she even said some on her show, she said, like I said, people need to watch. You know what's so crazy? They watch that show, The Red Pillars, to get stuff to pick at their marriage about. Oh, Barack Obama don't wear the pants. Oh, Barack Obama supported gay stuff. Oh, it's like, bro, you're missing the gems trying to find the drama. I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt. They missed the gems trying to find the drama. But she said that how Barack Obama and her were like on really rocky times. And they didn't almost get divorced. She never talked about that, but she talked about how she couldn't stand them. And she was like, and it was like, I think it was 3 years. Now, don't quote me on it. It's been a while since I've seen this clip. But she was like, but she's had like 8 happy years after that. So 3 bad years for 8 consecutive good years is a good trade-off. She was like, people don't want to go through the 3 bad years. So they go through the year. No, obviously, you got to take the situation for what it is. Because some people will hear stuff and get motivated to do some dumb stuff. That's not what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm not saying stay in an abusive relationship. I'm not saying stay in one that got you just financially like hurting out there or whatever the case may be. But I mean, if it's just where you're just not happy, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be, but you know that it's not going to last, you probably should stick it out. But like I said, barring anything that's just super duper drastic, and that's how you get to where you want. Like nobody goes into the expectations of anything else in their life with like nobody goes into their life with any type of expectations like that other than a relationship. And I want to get your opinion because you spoke on this earlier. When people go to their jobs, they got what they think their worth is, but they end up settling to what the job think their worth is, right? And they never go to the job and be like, all right, it's over. I gotta leave. I gotta leave you because you're not giving me what I want or what I need. They put up with that job until it come to a crossroads or they get promoted, or they sometimes just stay on that dead end job for the rest of their life until they retire, whatever the case may be. So why do they have them expectations in a relationship of I gotta be happy at all times? I'm not gonna settle. Why is settle a bad word?
Why is settle a bad word?
I'm listening.
I mean, maybe it's not bad for some, you know, maybe it's only bad for people who view it that way. I think the difference between a relationship and a job is that, you know, you choose it. You can also choose work. People, you know, feel more confident about maybe their professional skills than they do their ability to attract a mate or be with someone. You know, I think that there's multiple reasons why people would stay in a bad relationship or a bad situation with a job. I have a friend right now. He's going through hell. And I'm like, okay, so what's next? Fuck. Just gonna keep complaining about it? And it's like, oh no, we'll figure it out. But it's like, yeah, well, let's go. Like, you know, people forget that you can opt out and you know, get something better. I think that it depends on how you feel about yourself and your financial situation. There's many factors to it, but I'm a leaver. I'm telling you right now, I'll leave a job, I'll leave a man.
I know.
I'll leave. Oh, you gonna say I know.
I can tell. I know you. I think I got your personality type down.
Oh, you don't got my personality type down.
I'm 100% sure.
Share with the class. Share with the class. We're listening.
So you want me to come to the? You sure you want to do this? Okay, please, don't turn it back.
Please.
You want to be on the couch?
Yeah, I'm putting myself on the couch. Let's go.
Okay, so I definitely know that you are a leaver. I feel like that, you know, you've been through situations where you put up with stuff and you didn't like the way that you felt whenever you put up with stuff. So you vowed to never do that again. So the first red flag or stuff, you take a flight. You got black flight, you know, or trauma flight. You out of there. You out of there with the quickness. You know what I mean? And you also said two things today that I paid attention to that confirmed what I knew about your personality. When I said life is not about you, you said, oh hell no, it's about me. Because I felt like you're giving so much to people that you have to focus on you for your own sanity. Like you don't want your brain ripped apart, so you have to focus on yourself. That's why that kind of like, you know, you was like Michael Jackson with Oprah. You know what I mean? Like you was not listening whatsoever. So yeah, I noticed that about. I watch your videos. Like I'm a fan of your content. Like I remember one time you went to a family function. That's why I knew this was like a anecdotal situation, and you left and you was like protecting my energy type stuff. So I know that about. I know that black flight's real.
Ooh, that was such a terrible experience. Yeah, no. I think you hit the nail on the head. I do not play those games. I do not play when it comes to my peace. And I think that a part of me getting to this pace of mental strength and clarity comes with, you know, like we talked about earlier, separating myself from the fucking culprit, you know, okay? The ones that kind of inflict those emotional wounds on me. And then being able to understand and recognize that, no, I have enough talents. I have enough know how to figure things out. If I'm unhappy with this one situation, I can move and change and I can get better. You know, a lot of times people just tell you, Well, just go anyway. Just stay at the reunion. Just go on ahead. And then you kind of let that trickles down into other areas of your life. And now you in a fucked up relationship and you just staying. Now you doing this. Nah. Like, that's why I be so adamant. I'm on everything. Like, nah, not taking it, not going, blah, blah, because I want what I want and I will have it. You know, you don't do that playing passive. Why are you playing passive on your own life? Okay, you sitting on what that man say? You sitting on the couch, you ain't got nothing to do. You might as well go ahead
Everest,
and
she done gave us, oh my goodness, she done turned to the Everest guy.
Hey, that nigga was on to something all them years ago.
Yo, you know, he said he wasn't even working whenever he was giving that. He did a World Star interview, and I was like, see, this is what I mean by everything fake. AJ had fake dreads on BET. They all that stuff was fake. They took our childhood. If we really want to be honest, they was lying to us the entire time. Only thing was real was the cartoon Simpsons. You know what I mean? But no, I see that in you. You know, I see that about you. But I was just talking about in general with the family reunions because I don't think because we don't talk about ourselves as individuals. We talk about the collective. So I was talking about the collective. As long as it's not something personal or like you said, you go and it's gun, a fire, or drugs or any of that. If it's a regular family function, that's what I'm talking about. Cause that's all I'm accustomed to. Like nobody was gambling or
it sounds like you came from a good family.
It was okay. It was okay. Every family got their dysfunction, you know, and I have Mexican friends that talk about the dysfunction in theirs, you know, like everyone has it. But you know what I will say, Jay, the difference in the two is you know how you talked about with friends, you do stuff that you don't want to do because you want to come through for them. They do that for their family. They have that approach to their family. Like for instance, like I have a friend who is dating somebody. I probably shouldn't say this on live. So hold on, let me think. Let me think if I should edit this because you know Trump and the mice people tripping. I don't want nobody knocking on my door. Let me think.
Okay.
So yeah, okay. So she's dating somebody who's from Mexico. That's what I say. He's from Mexico. And I look at how their family structure is. They are tight-knitted and they look at stuff in terms of long-term instead of momentary, right? Like one will come over, learn all the skills, all the, you know, plumbing, electrician and stuff. And then he'll go back, get somebody else. And then before you know it, they'll have an entire team flipping houses. And we know real estate create more millionaires than any other industry. And that's why they're booming and thriving in Texas. And even though they might have their dysfunction and like, I don't like he said this, or man, he tried to even talk to my girlfriend. Like no matter what, they always look at the big picture thinking. And that's what I be trying to get Black people to do. Have big picture.
I'm so glad you brought that up because you absolutely right. Them Mexicans in Texas, baby. Hey, y'all got a different breed of Mexicans down there. I'm trying, you know how we were just talking about like where you live matters? Like the Mexicans over here in like the Northeast, they're like, you know, them little ass fucking Mexicans, like, you know, nobody even cares. You know, like the Puerto Ricans and shit, like you can never call them a Mexican. And I'm not even trying to say it to be disrespectful. And let me just say this I don't mean to be disrespectful, rude. I'm just talking a little freely, y'all. The Mexicans up here.
No, we allow freedom of speech over here.
Okay, right. Okay, a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit.
Oh, wow.
We don't talk about Bruno. No, I'm not saying you.
Oh, okay. I thought you was clowning on me. Like saying I'm sensitive. No. Oh, yeah, you right. No, don't do it. When people come over, I'm like, bro, I just got this money. I just got big time.
You hear what I'm saying? So, the first time I went to Texas and I seen the Mexicans and they got a whole town, they walking around, big cowboy boots and big buckles and shit. I'm like, it was something I had never seen in my motherfucking life. I just couldn't believe they were even taller. I'm like, how they got taller Mexicans? I couldn't, like, I'm trying to tell you, the Mexicans down in Texas, baby. I was like, sheesh. I called all my homegirls like, bitch, you won't believe this shit. Because Mexicans up here, you know, yeah.
The crazy part about it, you'll pass by a place that's under construction. They'll have it up in a week or 2 weeks, and it'll be nothing but Mexicans working on it. Yeah, they're resourceful, and they. That's why I be like, when everybody be talking about. When people be talking about the immigrants and the problem with immigrants, I'm like, y'all not talking about Texas immigrants because I don't know that. Like, I ain't never seen or experienced any of the things y'all talking about. They come over here to work, You can find them at Home Depot, you know what I mean, looking for work, you know. So that's so crazy. They rated all the workplaces of them looking for work to say that they didn't want to work. That's crazy work.
Right. Like why didn't they go to like the drug sets or not even the drug sets, but like
the meth house.
Like somewhere, like find some of these human trafficking routes, find some of these cartel workings. Y'all at the car wash. Hey, I went to the car wash the other day. The prices have skyrocketed. I'm like, what the fuck? What's happening? Even with like, you know, I live around a lot of farmland. A lot of like, I think it was in the like, I don't remember which crop it was, but a lot of the farmers in this area, like they didn't have people to pick the fucking shit, and it just went bad. Like, you know, I'm in Jersey, so you know we got the Jersey corn, Jersey tomatoes, like shit is skimping light. And it's like, what the fuck? What did y'all do all this for? Going to the places of business and the schools and the everything and the children. It's just, I ain't seen a hardened criminal yet. I ain't seen one ICE fucking video that made me feel like, yeah, you know, get his ass. I haven't seen one.
Speaking of that, you know, there's you know what I think YouTube be doing sometimes? I know that they will unsubscribe you from a person. I think they be subscribing you to people too as well. Cause sometimes I'll be like, who in the hell is this person? You know I ain't subscribed to them, but like it was this one girl that was talking and she was like, her black fatigue has black fatigue. I already knew what the video was going like. They do not know what black fatigue means. That's a whole nother subject. But she was like basically that Democrats are shutting down the government while ICE is out there doing all the heavy lifting. And you just face palming like, what be in the mindset of people like this? Like what about let's just say that what you say is true. You know, the immigrants why don't they attack the PDF files like that? You know why? Because one of them that runs the country is on the biggest scandal of all time. That they don't care about real stuff protecting children like they claim to be. Oh, they're meth factories and they're coming for you. That stuff is all a dog and pony show to distract you from what they really doing. The war and stuff that's going on, the list. You know what I mean? All that stuff is distract from those two things. That dude was even willing to release the dirt on Martin Luther King, then release his own stuff. Martin Luther King? What did Martin Luther King do?
Yeah, it's a telltale sign. I was watching. Now, I'll be honest with you. I do watch some content from people who I wouldn't necessarily like listen to, just to kind of keep my ears to the street a little bit. And I was watching this guy, you may know him, Sean Ryan. He's this big podcaster on the right, Christian, Tennessee, former military special ops kind of dude. Well, anyway, he has somebody on there, and he interviews a lot of like interesting people, former CIA agents, priests, you know, all types of shit. And it was, I don't remember who it was, but it was a guy who was a part of like the dark web, and he was like basically busting people who were PDF files and, you know, did a whole bunch of things like this, And he said, you know, everybody is trying to make it seem like, you know, black men are the predators and, you know, be careful when, you know, you get on the elevator with a black man and you hold your pocketbook. But almost 54% of people who are PDFs are white, cis, heterosexual men.
Yeah, that's not alarming. That's not look at the White House. Pete Hegseth, I can't pronounce his name. You know, I don't want to butcher it anymore. But the guy that got drunk and sent military ops to the news, that guy is recorded and documented of talking about, you know, sex with an underage person. Donald Trump has actual essay charges and is on the biggest PDF file list of all time. Epstein's the guy as far as the biggest scandal, and he's on the list. Of course, yeah, yes. Look at the founding fathers, and that's another thing. I just seen Killer Mike do an interview, and he talked about how they always talk about Martin Luther King and the alleged orgies that he was in, and it's like, have y'all looked at Thomas Jefferson and any of those guys that were having babies with 13-year-old black women and then selling them off into slavery or owning 100 slaves? Like, what? Morality? Like, that's crazy. And the orgy I thought was willing people. I don't know. That's just me. I don't believe it.
Yeah, you gotta understand, like, he was a young man. You feel what I'm saying? Right. He wasn't.
Hold on. Wasn't Dr. King like 30-something when he passed?
That's what I'm saying. He was a young brother.
No, sister, that's unk age. I'm unk age right now. Me and Dr. King around the same age.
You unk age?
Yeah.
I'll speak for yourself.
Hold up. I heard a little ageism in your voice, and we don't allow that over here, sister.
What do you mean? Hey, listen, we're all blessed to see a day, and I ain't trying to be ageist or anything like this. He was like 40 or something when he passed. You're saying that at 40 is giving unk?
I mean, they consider me unk in my 30s, and I've been an unk for a while, so I don't know what they changed the age depending on who you talking to.
You know why you giving unk? Because you married. Because if you was just a nigga,
no, I don't even tell them that. I don't even tell them I'm married before. It be the dudes be like, yeah, unk. Listen, the first time they called me unk, I probably was like 2 years ago. I was doing a live, and he was like, yeah, unk. I'm like, unk? Man, I started thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute. Listen, it's coming to terms with unk is like, for instance, right? Like, if I scroll past an older chick, I'm like, that's a nice looking older chick. And I look at her age, and I look at my age, I'm thinking like, damn, she's not that much older than me. I might be unk. Like, I had to come to terms with, yeah, I'm unk.
Okay.
Let me put Tim in timeout. Like, this is what you got to do. So listen, I'm letting you know now, when I share your link, it's going to be a lot of trolls. It's going to be a lot of trolls that go to your channel because they be in the boxing community. And what they do is they regress. You know, if they like up somebody, they'll troll them. So I have another friend on here that is like people would consider universally attractive. And they go to her page and spam her with negative comments. And it's like, bro, when has that ever worked? When have you ever been mean to a woman and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna take these panties off of him because he is so mean to me. Like, when is that ever?
Courses, them alpha male courses. That's what they telling them, instructing them to do.
That is crazy. That's never worked. They better go look at some videos of Casey and JoJo singing in the rain with their shirts unbuttoned.
Begging, yearning. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, well, send a link. I'm cool. We gotta run it back sometime. Next time, you know, I'll be bringing up the topic, so be prepared. Okay, and we'll get into some things. Thank you, though. Like, thank you for inviting me up here and, you know, kind of chit-chatting a bit, you know, letting us shoot the breeze. I think I said it before when we were just in the DMs, and I'll just say it here. I always appreciate how you always pour into me and just remind me, like, girl, get on your Zoom. Get on your Zoom, okay? So, yeah, I said that in the DMs, and I always want to say it publicly. I really appreciate you. And, you know, we can definitely run it back.
No problem. Stay on for like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to go edit it, but I'm going to tell you something to do.
Okay.
Something else to do. So appreciate everybody for pulling up. Make sure you go subscribe to her. Trolls, please be nice. You know what I mean? Don't take your anger out and insecurities out on her, because, you know, I be talking to them kind of crazy over here, so they might try to go take it out. I don't know. They might just like you and not know how to flirt. Like you said, taking them fresh and fit classes. But anyway, yes, the Boxing Scholar, and I'm out. Ray J, talk to them, serenade their hearts and souls.
Superstar, wish to have a fancy car, wish to have $1 million bucks. Well, I wish I don't be in love. So tell me, pretty baby, I make one wish and I wish it all on you. Make it love to the break of dawn, me and you to the baby's born, till my baby's born. Y'all sing, come on. Till my baby's born, till my baby's born.
So I wanted to say to y'all, shout out to everybody that pulled up. Shout out to Shanta, Vaughn, Queen. I noticed you ducked that question when I brought up about that Jewish guy that pulled up over here. I noticed you ain't had no smoke for that. You know, you done already showed where your bravery lies when it comes to that. So, you know, to the people, I have Jay's link pinned in the chat. Every weekend, we're gonna try to bring y'all like a simulcast or a dual show or whatever the case may be. We're gonna try to bring y'all that. Because you know, she disagreed with everything I say. I think I'm gonna start doing a little tactic where I like say what I don't feel so that she could take the side that I do feel so we can agree and then we can just cook on from there. That's what I think I'm gonna start doing. But yeah, I want y'all to make sure y'all go subscribe to her, the trolls. There's definitely trolls watch. I said, did you hit the like button? 7% said no. So they're gonna go over there too. And they're gonna be on their worst behavior. But either way, they're giving time out of their life that they never get back. But that's neither here nor there. Appreciate everybody for pulling up. You know, hey, Vaughn was there. Vaughn know exactly what I'm talking about. Vaughn, you see how she turned into the road runner? Mimi. As soon as that Jewish guy came up here, she left the panel and tried to convince me to kick him off. All that feminist talk. And the moment that the Jewish man showed up, it was protect me, alpha strong black man. The Jewish guy's gonna get me. You know what I mean? It turned to that immediately. So yeah, Vaughn was there. Vaughn know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. That's a crazy word. But so yeah, so we're gonna try to bring y'all these episodes, like I said, at least once a week. At least once a week, we gotta do a simulcast and cook on some topics because she be knowing the topics. You notice at the end how she's trying to say, you know, I'm gonna pick the topics next time. That's that feminist stuff. That's that feminist stuff. Don't want to let the man lead. You see what I mean? You see that, Vaughn? You see that, brother? You see that, brother? But yeah, she was out of there. That was hilarious. I might actually go back and clip that up, Vaughn. I might clip it up. I might clip up a clip of her talk about black men and how black men submissive to the white man and blase. And then the moment the white man came, Mimi, you know what I mean? I might do the SpongeBob a few moments later. I might do something like that. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, man, I'll catch you on the next one. I'm gonna try. I can't make no promises, but I'm gonna try to do a live maybe tomorrow. I work tomorrow, so it's gonna be really hard. So it might be a pre-record where I'm in the chat. I don't know. I'm gonna try to drop y'all content though. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to bring y'all this dope content because I know y'all love it. Like I said, get y'all through the shift. And some people just enjoy the conversation. Some people enjoy the people in the chat, whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for showing up. Shout out to the homie Jay, Superstar Jay. You know what I mean? And anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Anyway, it's Boxing Scholar, and I want y'all to really listen to Ray J, right? I don't know if y'all missed it on my backup channel. I shared it on my community wall. If you missed it, go back and look. I did Tank versus Tyrese. I gotta be the only one that noticed that there was like, why would you do a versus with somebody you was in a group with? That's the first versus we ever seen that with, right? That comes to mind. And they had like secret beef inside the group, and it's funny that it carried over to the verses. And Tank absolutely destroyed Tyrese, and I knew that was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen before. Tyrese got more hits than Tank, more commercialized than him, been in movies, had the crossover, star appeal. But as far as talent, as far as performance, I knew he couldn't mess with Tank. I knew that was gonna be a wash. So make sure y'all go subscribe to my backup channel too as well. I'll share this link so people can replay it on my community wall, and I'll tag Jay's page if y'all want to subscribe, and I'll check my backup. That's what we'll do. But anyway, man, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Anyway, it's Box Color. I'm out.
Superstar, wish to have a fancy car, wish to have $1 million bucks. Let's go. Well, I wish I don't be in love. So tell me, pretty baby, I make one wish and I wish it all on you. Make it love to the break of dawn. Me and you to the baby's born. Till my baby's born.